Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. How is everyone's Sunday Funday today? Bear with me. I'm like not feeling 1,000 today. I wasn't feeling 1,000 yesterday either. I'm feeling more like 70 out of 1,000 at the moment. So lots of water to hydrate myself. I'm not feeling top notch. So I'm here. I am here. Here I am. So, God, it's been a week of really crazy news, like really crazy news all over the country, really. I mean, the shit that happened at the White House Correspondents' Dinner, an attempt, obviously, on the president, which has happened before. Then there was lots of news here in Massachusetts. There was 2 children, ages 6 and 7, found alive by their mother in Wellesley, Massachusetts the other day. And as far as I understand, they arrested the mother in Virginia. That was devastating news. When I got that alert on my phone, I was devastated. That's just terrible, awful to hear, just totally awful. And they're just more and more and more news, you know? And I look at some of the mainstream media and I'm like, it's just sad story after sad story after sad story, just really fucked up shit, like really fucked up shit. So, I was talking to my husband night before last, when my daughter was the kids were with my sister, and my other sister who's disabled, she's just turned 30. They said, so I got a little clip of outside the house, and I have a little clip of what they were talking about, what the cops were talking about. And the cops on the radio were saying that they had the father on the phone and he was inconsolable. It was just awful to hear in general, just absolutely awful. I'm speaking of my sister who just turned 30, and now my phone's ringing and it's her. Please hold. So my sister who just turned 30, she is disabled. So like my sister-in-law, she has the brain of like a child. So she's got the brain of, maybe a 10 to 12-year-old, I would say. My sister-in-law has Downs. And so she's in her 40s. She's got the brain of, I'd say, like a 6 to 8-year-old-ish. But my sister's a little more high functioning. But I think the father was the one who called for the wellness check. It just makes sense, I think, and he was inconsolable, so it's just terrible. But so my kids were with my sister, and that never happens, right? Like I never have the house just me and my husband. It's always, us and the kids, us and the kids, us and the kids. There's never a time when it's just us. And so we're laying in bed watching a movie. The night before they came was they left Thursday and stayed Friday and Saturday. Wait, they stayed Thursday night and Friday night, and they came home Saturday. So they came home last night. And so it was Friday night. We were just laying in bed and we're talking, and I'm like touching my nose, right? Like this. And I'm like, I feel like there's like a pimple or something on my nose. I'm like, babe, what is that? Right? And I'm like, what is he? He's like, I don't see anything, babe. And I'm like, well, I feel it. There's something there. Like, what is it? A cut? Is it like a pimple you can't see? Like, what is it, babe? Right? And nobody ever do this with their significant other. And you're just like, look, what the fuck is it? What is it? I feel it. What is it? Right? And I'm like, what is it? And he's like, I don't know. I don't see anything. And I'm like, well, touch it. And he's like, I'm not touching. He goes, did you just tell me you won't touch my nose crease? Like, after fucking 12 years, did you just tell me that you would not touch my nose crease? Yes, I said it like that. And he just started dying laughing. And he's like, that's you. You do stuff like that for me. I'm like, okay, but I can't see if it's a cut. It feels like a little bump right next to my nose right here. Like, what the fuck is it, right? And he's laughing and I'm laughing. And I don't think I've like belly laughed, like really belly laughed like that, where you couldn't breathe in a while. And I don't know where this came from. He's like, yeah, I'm not touching it. I was like, can you just see if there's a cut there? Like, that's what it feels like a little, like a cut or something, because it like stings when I touch it. Or maybe it was like a pimple, under the skin, I'm thinking, like, that you just can't see. And he's like, I'm not doing that. And I'm like, you know what? Fine then. I'm going to leave you in your poopy underwear, in your wheelchair, in front of the window, watching squirrels gone wild when you're old. And oh my God, he just busted out laughing, almost choked on his water. I'm like, he's like, did you just say you were going to leave me in my poopy depends in a wheelchair in front of the window watching squirrels gone wild? And I said, yes, fucking sir, I did. Yes, sir, I did say that. Yes, I did. I absolutely said that. I said it. And it must have been like 5 minutes. This poor man like couldn't breathe. He was laughing so hard. And he was like, you would too. And I was like, oh, yes, I would. I said, for the people who at least know me. He's like, well, it's a good story to tell on your show. I was like, well, don't be, upset when people say you totally would do that, because he's like, you would. And you would. And you fucking would. Yeah, squirrels gone wild. It's because my cat will sit at the window and she makes these weird clicky noises when she sees the squirrels and the birds. And Benny here, he knows my husband. Benny helped us move some things out of the old apartment into the truck and stuff. And so my husband is just fucking dying laughing, just dying laughing. And he's like, you would leave me in my poopy depends in front of the window watching squirrels gone wild when I was old, wouldn't you? Like, yes, I fucking would. You don't want to touch my nose crease? I don't want to wipe your ass. Like, it's just, it was so random. Like, we're, far from him doing that. He's very athletic. Like, that man is stronger than men twice his size, and that's not a joke. I'm not even exaggerating. Like, so, he won't be in any depends anytime soon in his 30s. But I'm like, you know what, sir? Fuck you. You want to see whether it's a cut or not. I'm thinking of all the shitty news that we see all the time, all over the world. It was nice to just, even though we didn't go out anywhere, like go to dinner or anything like that, like we're just home, like just goofing, just doing what we do and being goofballs. Because to be fair, if you've ever seen me and my husband together and you know us, like personally, first of all, there's never been a person on planet Earth that didn't like my husband. I've never met someone who met my husband and was like, I don't like that guy. My husband's a very like stand-up guy. He's very laid back. He's very chill. And he's a family man. He's a great husband and a great dad and a stand-in dad for my other two. And they call him dad because he's been in their lives so long. And their dad isn't. And so, you got to think about, like, I might not have a lot of family, alive, but I have my immediate family, my children, my husband, and we are like two children when when we're together. We make the stupidest jokes about the stupidest shit, but it's about spending time. There was nowhere I would have rather have been than with him. And even when we go on the trip every summer to Saco, which I don't even know if it's happening this year. We'll see if we can even save the money to go, or depending on how many people want to go. It's cheaper the more people who want to go, Benny, you should probably go on that trip. You would have so much fun, I'm telling you. But just music, floating down the river, it's a good time. But so we're just laughing like little children, at home. And I just sat there and I was thinking to myself, like, this is what life's all about. Like, it's hard, Life is fucking hard. Yeah, you definitely yay for great men, especially if you've gone through some shitty ones in your life, like I have. Most people go through a shitty partner or two in their life. A crazy woman, a narcissistic man. A lot of us have been through that hell on earth. And we all had a type, I feel like, when we were younger. My husband's like the polar opposite of any type I would have picked when I was younger, And at least the fun fact about me and my husband is me and my husband actually grew up just a few houses down from each other. We played as kids. His brother was in my grade, and me and his brother used to babysit my neighbor's son. And so what's funny about that, my eye is so itchy, and I don't know if it's like because my allergies or what, but it's one eye. I don't know if it's because as kids, like, I played a lot of sports, so I was like one of two girls that used to always play like stickball, street hockey. I wasn't really into basketball. I just watched them play basketball, but street hockey and stickball were the main two that we would play. But as kids, like that's what we had to do in the neighborhood was like play sports, together. And the girls usually just sat and watched, but I've always played sports, so I always wanted to play. And so the fun story about it all is me and my husband literally grew up just a few houses down from each other, and we ended up just reconnecting as adults, in our 20s. And here we are over, a decade later. And my sister's fiance is the best friend of the little boy that I used to babysit from next door. So when the little boy from next door eventually moved out with his mom, he moved to Whitman, and the mom bought a house in Whitman. And years and years and years went by, and they reconnected as friends, my sister and the little boy who used to live across the street. Now, as like, I think they were like 19 at the time or 20. And he brought his best friend over to hang out, which is now my sister's fiance and father of her 3 children. So it's just weird how life happens, right? How small of a world it is, Absolutely. That's their dad no matter what. You can never take that from them in the same way that nobody could ever take from me, my dad, and my dad's anniversary of his suicide is coming up in May. And I've been thinking a lot about it lately just because it's coming up, and it's definitely hard. It's hard to think about. It's hard to miss my dad every day or think about the things that my dad has missed out on with my kids, with his grandkids, the rest of his grandkids. My dad only met, he died in his early 40s. One of his grandchildren. Only my oldest was born at the time. So I think about all the things that he could be doing with his grandkids, or all the things that we could be doing with him as adults, and it's sad. But I'm grateful that my husband's such a great dad to all my girls. And, when people ask him, like, how many kids you got? His answer is always the same. I have 3 daughters, 3 daughters. And they always ask him, like, how old are your kids? And he's like, 8, 16, and 21. And they're like, sorry, you're not old enough for a 21-year-old. And he's like, yeah, I am. He has kind of a baby face. And when he doesn't have like a full-fledged beard, he looks much younger than he actually is. He's in his late 30s. And people assume he's like in his late 20s, like, no. Dude, I don't know I do know where my husband gets his strength from. I mean, he worked 10 years building, in ground and above ground, but mostly in ground pools. And that requires like carrying buckets of like crushed stone and vermiculite, like, you know what I mean? Like 10 years of like that kind of hard labor. He's always done hard labor, roofing and construction, but he did 10 years of like building pools for people in their yards for a pool company. And so like carrying buckets and buckets of crushed stone every day, like that'll give you some insane strength. And that dude has some insane strength, insane strength, I actually saw one of your things today, Benny, that someone posted on X, and I was like, that's Benny's voice. That's his voice, Exactly. We literally probably would have, at least I would have, not my husband. My husband actually was one of the little kids they used to have these dances at this church when I was a kid for the, middle school kids and elementary school kids. They used to have these dances inside the church on weekends, and we would go to those. And my husband was he's 3 years younger than me. He's one of those kids who would come up and like smack my butt, and I would turn around and they'd be running away. And one day my husband starts telling a story about like when he was a kid doing stupid shit like that. And we put 2 and 2 together. Like, that's who did it to me. I'm like, what are the fucking odds? Like, what are the actual odds? Like, but back then, I wouldn't have given him a second look. I wouldn't have given him 5 minutes of my time back then. I literally would not have. We are, he's a citizen. I grew up a little rougher than he did. And so, like, I wouldn't have. He was too nice, if that makes sense. He was too nice. He was like a nice guy. And back then, nice guys were not my thing. Let's just throw that out there. It was not my thing. And so, yeah, I wouldn't have given him a second look back then at all until we were older, which is probably why he was not put back into my path until we were older. So I love that, Rando. I love that, right? Yeah, but fun fact, I know Jesse's husband's family, her brother-in-law was a good friend of mine. He was the best friend of a guy I was with when I was much, much younger. And so that like world is just so small sometimes, you know, it's just so small. I saw you talking about the little sewer turtle. Oh, but that's so sweet. You know, my dad adopted me when I was 4. It was either 4 or 5. I was little. And then him and my mom got married. My biological dad wasn't in the picture. And not because he didn't want to be, really, because him and my mother just didn't see eye to eye on certain things. But I didn't meet my biological dad until I was already an adult. My stepdad raised me, and that was dad to me. I never called him anything but dad until the day that he passed. And it's really hard. I was actually we watched the other day, my dad just playing piano, and we were watching YouTube last night, and all of a sudden, what pops up in the next video, but a video that my brother posted of my dad's band playing somewhere in Beverly. My dad grew up in the North Shore in Beverly, and I'm just sitting there watching my dad play the drums, and it was just like one of those surreal moments where it's like I remember being a kid sitting there while they were, you know, recording these songs and playing these songs, and they used to let me, you know, play with the tambourine and stuff. And one of my dad's favorite songs, well, one of the favorite songs I have of my dad was when he was in a band called This Is Not Here, and it's called Greed and Money. And I remember one day, as an like looking it up and being shocked, you could actually look up the album still like on Google, and it actually popped up. I was like, this is fucking surreal. But my dad, I remember him trying to figure out like you know how, because some songs they use like little noises, like background, like whether it's like a tree branch cracking or thunder or something like that. Like my dad was looking for specific things to use. And it ended up being like the cash register opening sign. I don't know. My dad played with a few bands over the years. This Is Not Here was one of the ones. Actually, you know what? I can show you a picture of This Is Not Here, at least. This was the mock-up, actually. It was just on a poster, like they made for one of their gigs. And this was the poster. $24 million. And my dad helped literally make this song, and my dad's obviously, so my dad is the one here in the corner next to the guy in the hat. Let me turn this volume down. Well, we can play the song, but I gotta turn it down. This was one of my favorite songs that my dad helped produce. And my dad didn't just play the drums. He played piano and guitar, and he taught kids. He was the manager of Hub Music in Pembroke when we lived in Marshfield when I was a kid. And he did lessons there. They did lessons for kids in all different instruments, you know. The hot older brother. Bones. $24 million. $24 million. $24 million. Trying to turn it down enough. That's the poster that they made. It was a mock-up of what they wanted the front of the album to look like. The front of the album ended up looking a little different than this, but this was just like the mock-up of it. But anybody who loves music, like my dad did, can appreciate like what hard work it is to do this shit. That little curly Q in the front of my dad's head, I used to remember like him going like this to get the curly Q to move out of his face. The song is literally called Greed and Money. Greed and money. Those two things definitely coincide. My dad was a handsome guy. I am told he was the ladies' man back in the day, you know? That's what I'm told. I actually had a friend who I didn't know, but way back in the day, my dad dated her mother before my mother. And after my dad died, she ended up finding like these love letters tucked in a Bible of hers. And it's a good friend of mine's mom. Like, it's like one of my closest friends' mom, and we didn't know this until like after my dad died. And she was able to tell me some really cool stories about my dad before my dad and mom were together, which was really cool. And just having that weird connection, you know, it's a good connection like that. Again, my dad was from the North Shore, not the South Shore, and she's from the South Shore. So, but I was able to like, she was allowed me to like look at the letters and read them and stuff, and that was really cool. And actually, she's sick right now too. She's been sick for a really long time on hospice, and it's really sad because I grew up with her as like one of my second moms, you know, my friend's mom. Her name's Betty, and she always holds a special place in my heart. Guy in the back there is my dad. Behind my dad is my dad's friend Gino. He was at my parents' wedding. So I have, hold on, let me get it. I friggin' bookmarked it. Where'd it go? Oh my God, the Beachcomber! Who doesn't love the Beachcomber? Yes, it was the original grunge look. My dad had the whole mullet, rocker vibe, open shirt, tight jeans. I mean, he played the drums. Hello. That was his main, you know, in this, that's what he's doing. He's playing the drums. They played at the Ups and Downs many fucking times. Many times. I was actually there when they recorded this one as well, and they let me fuck around with the tambourine. The girl says it all. It does, right? Seriously, though. My dad really was a rock star, though, like in every aspect, you know? Like, my dad loved his kids to the end of the earth. And definitely nobody could say that he didn't. Happy Sunday, Freeze! But yeah, that was the original mock-up of it, but I'm sure they played in many festivals. I mean, I'd have to dig out some things in storage, but oh, I've snuck into the Beachcomber so many times, dude. I mean, again, originally from that area, so yeah. I mean, there were a lot of places we could get into before we were 21, you know? Read Terrifies. It's actually my dad right there in a Hub Music ad from 1994. They had two different ads. That my dad was the manager of that place, and that was one of the ads of him playing the guitar. Another one was him teaching a kid how to play drums, of course. But my brother sent me a lot of this stuff many Mother's Days ago. He found some of these videos and enhanced them the best he could, because they're really old, you know, really grainy, really old. I don't know. He played with another band in the North Shore. He had his friend sent me, his friend's wife died. Oh, I forget. I have him on Facebook, my dad's friend. And he played with that band before my dad moved to Florida. And so there was a couple other ones besides This Is Not Here. There was a woman singer in the ones before he was with my mom. And that one, actually, I think there's the name of that one here. Erie Pub. Oh my God, the Erie Pub, such a good time. That's my dad's friend Gino here. This one, Extended Play, live at Grover's, Beverly, Mass, 1989. Tori Peck, covered by Extended Play. So this is probably the name of one of the bands my dad played in, which was Extended Play. Looks like maybe the singer was Tori Peck, I'm guessing. But there was I know there was at least one more, maybe two. but I probably couldn't tell you the names of them. But my dad's name was Darren. It was 1 R, not 2. But this is 1989. 1989. All right. Gerard's. It's so funny watching them in 1989, bro. Like, imagine being in this atmosphere back then. 1989. I was 3. I was fucking 3. Like, I feel like the 80s would have been a fun time, no? Like, I really feel like it would have been a blast back then. Right? 89 is a good year. Sounds like a good one, you know? Happy Sunday. I mean, I can imagine sort of being in this crowd and like back in the grunge days or the rock days, you know? Like, just imagine it. The one thing I wish, though, is that these videos were better. I mean, you can see my dad playing the drums, so you can't see his face. You know what I mean? I wish that the videos were better, and like they are now, where you can see the entire band, you can see their faces, you can, you know what I mean? Like, you can see the sweat on their brow. Like, you can't see that, you know, back then. This is 89, and obviously I can watch my dad playing the drums, but I can't see his face, and that's the part that I wish that I could just, like, see his, I mean, I have other videos where you can see his face, but, like, just watching him play the drums, I guess, makes me sit there just in awe of, like, I remember as a kid, like, him being at home just playing the drums, you know, like, just practicing over and over and over and playing different songs and fucking with different sounds. And, like, he just enjoyed it. Like, the look on his face, like, he was so in tune with the music, you know, like, so in tune. Like, I remember him trying to teach us how to play drums and talking about how it's in the wrists, right? How it's in the, because you're doing more than one thing at a time, right? There's a pedal at your foot for the bottom drums. Then you have the cymbals in, you know, a lot of the times your hands are crossed when you're playing, and your wrists have to be sort of flicking a certain way. My brother can play just as good as my dad. Not me. I am not the one. My dad got my sister a guitar, but he died before my dad could ever teach her to play it, and so she never touched it again after he passed. She just tucked it away in her closet. We tried to get her to take it out a couple times and play, but she didn't want anything to do with it, unfortunately. But I can imagine being there in the fucking 1989, you know? 90s were more like, I feel like the R&B groups and hip-hop, you know? Like, that's when it started. But, like, this looks like a fun time, not gonna lie. To be fair, I definitely want to go see, like, Journey before that stops happening. My dad loved the Eagles. My dad liked a lot of diverse music, though, like, just all over the place. I mean, they are into it, bro. Like, the button-down shirts, the leather jacket, like, I mean, look at them. They're jamming. They are freaking jamming. I mean, imagine back then, like, you could smoke in the bars back. Does anybody remember that? Smoking or non-smoking? Ooh, that sounds like fun. That sounds like fun. See, I like all kinds of music. Like, I went to many raves back in my day. Many, so techno. I listened to a lot of techno back then. Rock, rap, R&B, pop, country, like all of it. Went to, I've seen your Pearl Jam in concert. Pearl Jam was a great concert. It was one of the first concerts I actually ever went to, was Pearl Jam. My aunt absolutely loved Hole. Don't ask me why. She was so random with that, but her things were Hole and Madonna. Two very different sounds. Two very different fucking sounds. Pearl Jam was one of the first concerts I went to when I was younger. It was a fucking great concert. Let's just throw that out there. It was a great concert. Oh my, do you remember? Oh my God, the Complex. Holy shit. I forgot that place existed. Holy shit. They had a complex on Route 1 too. You know, the 18 plus clubs before you were 21 that they let you into. God, I remember those. I don't even think those exist anymore. I don't think those exist anymore. But there were 18 plus clubs you could go to. Like, and back then there was a complex on Route 1 and there was one in Providence. And yes, you could smoke inside the buildings back then. Like they didn't, like it was smoking or non-smoking, but non-smoking was still smoking coming into your section, right? Like it was still coming into your fucking section regardless. Oh my God. Hey Beach, how are you? My God, I think about some of this shit and I'm like, none of this shit would be allowed right now, like ever. Think about it. Oh, also I have a couple thank yous I need to give. Although I feel like I'll just show the pictures of them because I already put them up in a way. I feel like that's probably a better idea. So this one didn't come with a slip. Like usually there's a slip for anything that comes from Amazon, and like it'll say who it's from. You know what I mean? This one didn't have a slip, although I think I know who it came from. So it was this, which I am so happy to have. And it's not a expensive item, but it is very fucking helpful. So you put it over your door, obviously, in the bathroom so you can hang towels. And it is fucking super helpful. And I appreciate it. And I'm pretty sure Marsha bought it. Appreciate you, Marsha. I put it on the back of the door already. I freaking love it. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I am more than appreciative. I love it. It's super helpful in my household, I'll tell you that much. The kids, everybody just throws their towels on the floor because there was nowhere to hang them, right? Like, and I believe it came in the same box as this, so I believe it's also Marsha, but I got these and they're stackables, right? You put them one on top of the other. One's a little bigger, one's a little smaller, and you can put things in them, any really things you, but it's for like trash bags and stuff. So I put my trash bags in one, and then I put like my Ziploc bags and stuff in the other, stack them on top of each other, and I put them under the sink, and it's keeping things very organized. I like these black ones too, but of course we have to have pink. Okay, it's pink, it has to be pink. The black ones are kind of cool, but pink ones were better. They were better. And you can put things on the very top of it, just like, you know, the platform on the very top. Oh boy, that's going to be interesting. Wait, you could smoke on airplanes back then? Shut the fuck up. That is so crazy. That is so crazy. Imagine not blowing up, right, on an air fucking plane. What day? Do you know what day, Liam? I can't believe you could smoke on airplanes. That's fucking insane. That is bonkers. That's absolutely fucking bonkers. But those are I wanted to give the two shout outs to that. And this also came, and I think it was from First Christmas 1984, I believe. Ted told me she was the one who got this. This came yesterday. I appreciate you. This is probably going to either go for groceries or Uber for getting my husband back and forth to work. So it's a very big help. I appreciate y'all. And as I'm looking at this right now, someone, I don't know who it was, got this bad Larry. And you have no idea how happy I will be to put this fucking thing together and get back some counter space. You have no idea. I only have 3 little counters. As you guys have seen, I've taken pictures. I only have like 3 little counters. So I will be more than goddamn happy to have this and be able to put things on it and have my counter space back for like, you know, cutting and like, you know, cooking. So I don't know who bought it, but you are appreciated. You know, no matter how big or small, I'm always appreciative of anything that comes off of my wish list because it's something that I can't buy myself, you know, can't afford to at the moment. I can barely afford to breathe at the moment. So I appreciate you guys for any, you know, whether it's being here every day or popping something off the list. Like I am, you know, always grateful and appreciative. You did not shut the fuck up. That's amazing. That is it. The BBC. Oh my God. Oh my God, the BBC. You could smoke in hospitals. Oh my God, that's so bad. But whoever got this, it hasn't come yet. I'm just seeing it pop up now when I'm trying to show you guys the pictures of the other two things, so I don't have to drag them out or where they are. I'll obviously find out, I guess. Well, you know what? Sometimes the bigger items you don't find out because they don't come with the slip. It just comes in its like manufacturer packaging. So if nobody fesses up to it or there's no slip in it, someone's gonna have to do a fess up here. But I appreciate y'all because that's going to be super helpful. Anything that's for like organization things like that, I'm more than happy to have. It helps my fucking household. And yes, you know what else? I said I was going to do it, and I did. And maybe when I get paid, because the kids were like, "We have a popcorn machine, Mom. You're right. We need a cotton candy machine to go next to it." And so I found this Ladberry. Okay, this Ladberry here. This candy, right? Maybe Aiden can help me assemble it since he doesn't seem to know how to use a any sort of tool. Never mind the easiest tool that comes in the package to put anything together. It usually comes with an Allen wrench and screws, and he can't even use a fucking Allen wrench. I can't. Okay. Oh my God, I remember that. I remember that at the doctor's office. It was a smoking lounge in the hospital. Holy shit. You know, I think he would fuck it up. That poor man, I don't think has ever done a fucking anything to do anything like that his entire life to put together. But yes, we did put the cotton candy maker on there for the kids. Although I'm kind of sad this one comes with, like, you have to buy what's called cotton candy floss sugar. It's how it makes it. And of course it came with the cherry and the blue raspberry, but like grapes, who the fuck likes grape? Gross. Who wants grape? The BBC, I'll go, you nasty. You guys remember the song? Hawaii. I haven't been to Hawaii. You are a wise ass, but I love you for that. You know, that's a good question. I would fucking hope if Norfolk County District Attorney's Office decided to do their job, maybe. 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 Hey, Kim. If they decide to do their job, then maybe. But I don't see that happening anytime soon. You know, I don't see that happening anytime soon. I did find a pink mini fridge, though, you guys, and I was like pumped that they had one of those on. Although someone told me that you have to get this thing, this fridge mat thing. Otherwise, like the water condensation will like come out of the bottom of the fridge or whatever, and you don't want that on your floor. And so I put the little stupid fridge mat thing on there. And I realized like it's gonna start getting hot soon. I'm gonna have to drag my air conditioner out of my storage unit. That'll be fun. Not so fun. And I'm gonna order a rug to put underneath this chair, thanks to Nina. I still haven't found the right one with like the backing that's like, I want the backing like underneath to be like hard, not soft. Otherwise, you know, thing won't roll correctly. You know, it'll get like stuck, but it won't like move when I need it to actually move. The BBC. It's a pink mini fridge. I know. I need a mini fridge. It would be so much easier than me having to like get up while I'm working and go back and forth between the kitchen and shit, or scream for the room service guy to bring me room service. You know, I do think he'll be free until he's found guilty. You know, I feel like that's a problem though, and part of that is, and I'm going to say it's the Norfolk District Attorney's Office not choosing to do their fucking job, and that's a problem for me. It's a fucking problem. Like, when are they going to do their part? You know, when are they going to do their part? They could have charged Aiden with quite a few crimes, quite a few, and they have chosen to do nothing. They had the witnesses, they had the witness statements, they had them sign the witness statements, and they had the evidence, and they chose to do nothing. And the state police had it all too. So at what point do either of those entities want to do their job? You know, at what point? Because it just pisses me the fuck off. I mean, to be fair, like, he could have been locked up and his bail revoked a long time ago, and there would be a lot less victims if they had chosen to do their job. You know? Get one of those desk mats, clear, hard plastic. Oh, you mean for underneath the chair? Maybe that's what I need. I just don't want it to make like noise. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to make like squeaky, like, see that? It's like a squeak or a roll. Like, I don't want it to squeak or roll when I'm moving. But, you know, well, I mean, it would definitely be helpful, I'll tell you that much. Those mini fridges on engines. Ooh, the skincare fridges are different. I had one of those a long time ago, and those are like 100. Those are like the little mini volt ones. But I've never had a pink mini fridge before. This one is like a regular, regular mini fridge. It's what do they call it? Oh, it's even got the little tiny freezer at the top, which I don't really care about. I only care about the fridge portion of it. But it's, what does it say? Freestanding, blah, 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 blah. Mobiles can maintain temperatures between 32 degrees and 51 degrees. Adjustable, blah, blah, blah. Removable shelves, low noise. Environmentally friendly. Uses a R600A compressor. Suitable for a variety of places such as offices, dorms, apartments, kitchens, blah, blah, blah. That's what it says. Oh, I bet. You know what? To be fair, at one point I had so much of that stuff too that I probably would have needed like a whole actual fridge for that. Oh, for fuck's sake. You know, that shit pisses me off, especially if like you own or rent. Like, what? Listen, mind your fucking business if it's not your apartment. You know, fuck, man. You know, like weed. You're gonna complain about weed. That's just stupid. You know, it's fucking stupid. You know what? You're right about that. Perez Hilton has no problem calling himself a blogger, and he's definitely way, way more famous. You know, way more. Way more. I mean, girl, listen, I'm old too. Don't worry, I'm going to be the dirty 40 this year. I'm telling you. Me too, Allie. Believe me, I feel you, my friend. Some people are just nitpicky over stupid shit, you know? And if you're part of the cult, you just believe a bunch of nonsense, you know? Oh, you did? Dang. I got to love myself a mini fridge. I haven't had one since I was like in my early 20s, to be honest with you, but it's definitely helpful as an adult. With the leak of the signal, who would have to bring to the grand jury? So it would have to be Morrissey or, his office, and they're not going to. Yeah, he's just collecting checks until he retires at this point, you know? Listen, I don't even smoke, right? My husband smokes before he goes to bed. I don't smoke weed. I never really have. I think the last time I smoked weed, I was like 17 or 18. I've never been a weed smoker. I don't love the smell, but I'm not going to complain if my neighbor smokes weed and I can smell the remnants of it like in the hallway or, outside, or if it comes, they're outside smoking and my windows are open. Like, I don't give a fuck. They can do whatever they want. I am not going to complain about dumb shit. It makes no sense. Like, I'm not out there inhaling it. Like, some people I feel like just have to bitch just to bitch, like, because that's what they do. Like, I feel like they must be related to Aiden at that point, I also don't think I have ever met more ungrateful fucking people sometimes, in life. Yeah, I don't think they're going to, Yeah, I mean, I have a vape, so, and I don't smoke weed, just it's regular, Well, it is. It's almost like a skunk. A skunk rolled by and you smelled it. That's life. It's life. Like, fucking can't. I don't understand people. I don't understand. It's definitely easier, I'll tell you that much, to have one of these, especially in the winter, Yeah, I'd be pissed too. I have a cat. Like, cats don't smell. Cats don't smell. They just chill, Weird. Listen, I'm multitasking lately and I find myself being like, what was I doing again? Like, it's the brain fog. I'm telling you, it's the brain fog. I think it's the 14th is her hearing. I believe it's the 14th. It's either the 14th or the 15th. The 15th is a tough day for me. And of course, things are happening on that day. So just be fully aware now that if I just start getting wicked emotional for no reason at all, know that it's because it's the 15th of May. And it's the day my dad died. And it's a hard day for not just me, but my whole family. And my brother's birthday is the next day. So it's just one of those like times a year that are just really fucking hard. And, you get through it, obviously. Every year you get through it, but it's fucking hard, And of course, we have multiple hearings coming up on the 14th and 15th. So if you find that I've just shut my screen off for no reason, well, you'll know why. It's probably because I was getting a little emotional. It is what it is. Oh, I mean, here's the thing: is I have sources, right? And my sources tell me that they're not doing shit. They're not doing shit. They're not going to do shit, even with the leaks. When it comes to him, which is like, I'm sorry, but if it was any other county in this state, if it was any other county in Massachusetts, you'd find that they would charge him. Norfolk County really needs to get their shit together, because at what point do they become liable for all the people who have been hurt by him? Like, at what point does the Norfolk District Attorney's Office or the state police or even local PD, like, do we have to wait for like a Michelle Carter situation to happen before they take it fucking serious? Yeah, they're not doing anything about that either, Christina. They're not doing it. They're not doing it. They're simply not doing it. They're literally not doing anything. They're getting ready for Aiden's trial, and that's it. Like, they're not doing it. They're not going to do a damn thing. So it's like, okay, like, but at what point do these two entities or three entities, including like local PDs within Norfolk County, become liable for more victims that Aiden has created? Well, at what point are they liable? Because had they done their jobs, those people wouldn't have been victimized because he would have been in jail. So in my book, like, at what point do they become liable for those victims being victimized because they chose not to do their fucking job? Whether that was because they're too worried about him lying about shit, or whether they made a stupid comment and they're worried about being fired if that stupid comment is found out about, or like they're more worried about CYA, covering their own asses, than they are giving a fuck about the general public. And that's the part that I have a fucking problem with. If you're more worried about whether you're going to lose your job in the DA's office or the court, or you're a judge and like you're more worried about whether Turtle Boy calls you a douche nozzle or not, or you're a cop and you're worried about losing your job because you made some stupid comment 5 years ago, if you do your job, like, you chose to take that fucking job. You chose to be a cop or a DA or whatever, right? Like, we rely on them to do their job. If they don't do their job, then who's going to keep people safe? Who's going to do it? Because if Norfolk County just flat out refuses to do their fucking job in the way that they have been for quite some time now, who is responsible for the victims that get victimized when they don't do their job? Because to me, that's egregious, right? I feel like you should be sued for that. Qualified immunity does not exist when you have been told dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times, you've been shown evidence, you're very well aware of the problem, and you just choose to use your quote discretion to ignore it. In my book, that's negligence, right? That is egregious and it's negligence. So you don't get qualified immunity. At what point do other people's rights matter? Right? Their right to privacy. He could have been charged with criminal harassment, filing false reports, blackmail. I mean, wiretapping. Like, they could have charged him with at least half a dozen crimes, probably 2 to 3 times each, already, a long time ago. Like, what in the actual fuck is happening? Like, what in the actual fuck is happening? Like, that's just crazy to me. It's crazy. Thank you, Kim. I appreciate that. I know a lot of people that like that. Hello, darling. I mean, it's unfortunate. It really is unfortunate. But no, they're not doing a goddamn thing, nor are they going to. You know, they're not fucking going to. Well, yeah, there's always, you know, leaks because he screenshotted a lot of shit and then sent it around. He forgets who he sends it to. He sends it to more and more people. Of course, he blames everything on, you know, Meredith, or, you know, there was like a 2-year period where he blamed everything on like Lindsay. It's just fucking crazy. You know what I mean? Like, to me, this is like, what part needs the government to do their job? If they don't do their job, the rest means nothing. You know? It means nothing. I don't think it is unnecessary, though. I don't think it is unnecessary. If I ran around in my county, and I grew up in Norfolk County, right? And I'm just outside the bounds of Norfolk County now, in a different county. But if I ran around blackmailing people, wiretapping people in my county, regardless of how many charges I already have, I would be arrested and charged with it. There is no like, oh, there's a limit. We're just not going to charge him with anything else. There's no such thing. What you're doing at that point is saying like, oh, well, if you commit all these white collar crimes that aren't violent, we're going to come to a point where we're going to say, okay, there's a limit to that. We're just not going to prosecute, right? That's what message it sends, is that, you know, well, we just don't want to deal with someone like him, so we're not going to charge him with anything else, which just allows him to run around criminally harassing people, right? Setting people up, making up fake receipts, fake emails, fake text messages, like fake Facebook posts, right? Under other people's names, claiming it's them when it's not. Like, I mean, like falsifying evidence. He could be charged with that as well. He could be charged with falsifying evidence. He could be charged with obstruction. Like, there are probably a half a dozen or more charges that they could have charged him with more than once, like times 2 each one at least, right? And so there's no such thing as a limit. In my county, if you commit wiretapping 3 times and then you commit criminal harassment 3 times, you're getting charged with all of those. They're not going to say, oh, you did it 3 times, you did it 5 times, now you get 13 charges, total of all these charges that we charged you with. And but you committed 5 more crimes after that. But you know what? The 13 is enough. We're not really going to charge you with the other 5. That's not the way it works. You committed 5 more crimes, you get charged with 5 more crimes, right? Like, it does nothing but help your case anyway. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy to me. I mean, they can, but what I'm saying is they're not going to, Christina. Like, they literally have decided they're not going to. They're simply not gonna. Like, that's the bottom line, is they're not going to. You know, they're simply not going to do a damn fucking thing. I agree, qualified immunity needs to go. It's needed to go for a long time. A long fucking time. Yeah, I mean, we're not saying we're dealing with a smart person. You know, he's not smart. See, and that's the problem right there, is that's what it tells people, is that, oh, well, if you act like him, you can just keep committing crimes and no one's going to do a damn fucking thing about it. And you're going to keep victimizing people and we're not going to protect you. That's what it gives the message of. We cannot have that. We cannot be giving that message to people so that they do the same thing, right? Like, that's not acceptable. And if you were in any other county, Plymouth County, Bristol County, Suffolk County, you would not see them just doing nothing. You can bet your ass on that. It just emboldens him to keep fucking hurting people over and over and over and over, and get worse and worse and worse and worse. You know, it's just not. They're not going to do anything. You know, there's more. There's always more, right? There's always more, but it's not always public, because, you know, there's a time and a place for things to, you know, come out. I mean, I don't think Cosgrove has a problem with putting him in jail, but Cosgrove is the one who about 2 years ago, when brought a couple of charges from a victim, said, well, unless he comes to your house and punches you in the face, I'm not going to charge him with anything else. What the fuck is that? What the fuck is that? So cool, unless he commits a violent crime, we'll just keep letting him victimize people. So, like, with Cosgrove, like, I have a problem with that. I have a fucking problem with that. I mean, I'm sure they do have a ton more problems because of that, but, like, they still have to do their job, and they're just not doing it, you know? And yeah, Cosgrove could have revoked his bail quite a few times already and chose not to, you know? And he should have been, right, Jay Bugs? He should have been. Bottom line is he should have been, you know? It's unfortunate. It's a loud message. You can just keep doing this shit and we're not going to do shit about it in Norfolk County, you know? I agree. I don't know who would want to be a cop either, but I feel like there can't be an across the board qualified immunity. There just can't. because what that does is allows really bad people to do really bad shit and just get away with it. And then that ruins the public's confidence in these entities to do their job. So we have to come up with a different system. Get rid of qualified immunity and give, immunity on this, and this. Anything outside of these circumstances, you are not fucking protected, right? Like, we cannot be giving qualified immunity if officers are going to falsify police reports. I can tell you, as someone who was an addict, 99.9% of all of my police reports were fucking bold-faced lies and shit they made up to rectify why they searched or why they did this or why they did that. Like, we can't have that, right? Because when you go to court, they read the police report, guess who they listen to? The cop. They don't give a fuck what you have to say about it. Oh, the cop wrote it, so it's got to be true, right? Wrong. Wrong. So it's like, we have to find a balancing act where we want people to be cops, right? And protect people. We want them to be protected against certain things, but we also can't have them emboldened to do all this crazy shit because they're just straight protected against everything and anything with qualified immunity. So we have to find a middle ground for that. I also think in the state of Massachusetts, at least here, we need to change the way judges are brought in. They cannot be appointed by the fucking governor anymore. They literally need to be voted in by the people. If you do a bad job, you get your ass voted the fuck out. Okay? We have far too many judges who are uneducated, who, in my opinion, are playing favorites or are giving favor to one side or the other based on who they like or who they've worked with or who they've seen enough. Like, we need to be voting our judges in and out like most other states do, and not just appointing, not letting the governor's council fucking appoint them, because almost never are they removed from the bench after that until they get old and die and retire. Like, that's it. And we cannot have that. We need them voted in and out so they know that they're being held accountable. It's a problem. Listen, I was with you for a long time, my friend, but once I got word they were literally doing nothing, I know my source, and it's as good as a hand on a Bible for me. They're simply not going to do anything. I agree with you. It's they never match shit. They never matches what actually fucking happened either. And also, perception is different for everyone. I agree with you. I've said this before, Moni. You probably weren't here when I said it, but I've said it a bunch of times. It was probably before you were watching my channel, but I've said I'd rather be punched in the fucking face by my abuser than emotionally and mentally fucking tortured and gaslit for years at a time, right? I would rather be punched in the face. Once you're punched in the face, it hurts and it's over, right? That mental and emotional gaslighting and abuse just continues to do damage over and over and over and over again. No. Beach said, I saw a funny tweet by Nick Rocco with the one-man band with a lot of instruments. The band is back together. Yeah, himself and him. Yeah, I agree. The jury system definitely needs some work as well. And yeah, I mean, one of the things I've been working on behind the scenes is really trying to get a bill passed here in Massachusetts that requires judges to have every 6-month mandatory, not training. Right now it's biannual, every 2 years. And really it's like a 1 to 3 hour class that's mixed in with a bunch of other shit. So they might spend 15 minutes on coercive control. Like, that's not sufficient. I'm sorry, it's not. We have way too many uneducated judges on social media, the internet, coercive control, and DARVO, right? Those need to be every 6 months, full day trainings that are mandatory for judges, period. And so that is something that I've been working on, along with trying to get a bill passed that includes charges for people like Aiden, who use dog whistles as a way to have other people do their dirty work so they can play the whole, like, I'm a victim and I can't control other people thing. Dog whistles are used all the time, and most of the time people are held responsible when they do this shit. He's not held responsible for it. 1, because Norfolk County refuses to do their job. 2, because too many people don't want to, quote, deal with him. Well, that's a problem for each and every victim. Okay? We can't have that. We cannot fucking have that shit. We simply cannot, right? It allows other people like him to continuously do their shit. We need a bill in place that allows cyber harassment and cyber stalking to be a felony in the state of Massachusetts. And we need to take away, unfortunately, from the police their discretion. It was taken away from them when it came to domestic violence. Okay. They no longer have the discretion to decide like, oh, well, nobody's going to be charged. Nobody's going to be arrested. Someone's going to jail that day if they get called for domestic violence. Someone, one or the other. One person or the other, someone's going to jail that day. They used to have the discretion to like not do anything. They don't have that anymore. It was taken away from them because they were simply just not doing shit. And so that's exactly what we need to do here. Cyber stalking, cyber harassment, we need to take their discretion away of doing nothing and pretending like it's just some beef between one online person and another online person, because in their minds, that's what it is. Oh, it's a civil matter. It's just a civil matter. You're just arguing with someone online. They don't get the nuances. They don't understand how far it can go. And I feel like here in Massachusetts, we're literally waiting for someone to either take their own lives or take someone else's life before they fucking do something to fix this shit. And I'll be damned if I wait for that to fucking happen. So for the last over a year and some change now, I have been working on trying to get a bill passed with all of these things in it here in Massachusetts. And let's just hope that we can do it, which is why part of the SHIELD project is so important. Is it's something I've already been working on, but I need people's help. I can't do everything alone. And if we want this to be something that happens all over the country, then we need people from all walks of life to help. We need to go through the whole thing, the whole fucking thing, and try to fix it. And so the SHIELD project is really important to me in that way, where I get other people involved in trying to help me contact their lawmakers, email them, show them that this is an important thing that needs to be given time to be talked about. We need a meeting and we need, co-sponsors on it. So, the SHIELD project hopefully will grow in time. Right now it's in its infancy, right? And I can take all the help I can get when it comes to the SHIELD project. Anybody that wants to help, wants to make a difference, wants to actually change the outcome for future victims and make sure shit like this never happens again to people, let me know. I could use your help in the SHIELD project, Well, that's the other problem, is why are they given more weight and belief when they shouldn't be, right? The whole idea is innocent until proven guilty, but we all know it's guilty until proven innocent, right? Like, let's be real. If a cop says you did do it and you say you didn't, who's getting believed? You know what I mean? Like, come on. They are exactly, literally proving the point. It's fucking hilarious, I think a lot of judges in our state need to. There are some serious issues with the way we have judges doing shit here. There's just, there's a problem. Oh yeah, the band. He thinks Karen and him will just magically get back together because they're in this lawsuit together, which is literally never going to happen. She can't stand his face. Yeah, that's definitely got to be a big slap in the face. But I heard Nick say not that long ago that like he doesn't support Aiden, doesn't like him. Obviously, he tried to threaten him, so I can't believe that he liked him after that. He probably just appeased him to not deal with this nonsense, What if he's not a target of the county? Are they share interests? What do you mean? I don't know what you mean. You're gonna have to be a little more specific on that one. Can't you bring up the mass witness intimidation statute and go through? You can, right? But like, it's not just witnesses. To be fair, there's a lot of people who are witnesses of his crimes and bad behavior that he then goes on to harass and silence. But it's more than just witnesses that he does that to, No, Boston is Suffolk County. Boston is Suffolk County. Yeah, it is. It's always battling on social media, I feel like, if they go after the flying monkeys, they would hold like an actor. That's the other thing. Take some of your flying monkeys, dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like, some of the closest flying monkeys to him will fold like a paper. You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest here. And to be clear, let me just make this abundantly clear. Aiden would piss on every single one of his supporters and throw them under the bus and even frame them if he thought it would get him out of trouble. Let's make no mistake about that. None at all. Yeah, that's part of my problem, right? What did the judge do to help in that scenario? The dude literally admitted he knew nothing about, YouTube, didn't understand it, doesn't understand social media. Okay, so how do you have a judge that can't understand social media and clearly doesn't know what Darvo is not well versed in Darvo or reactive abuse in any way, shape, or form? It's very apparent he didn't, right? And that he gave it like a tit for tat weight instead of someone reacting to the abuse that they keep getting, right? you allowed a narration of what happened that didn't happen, right? And so that is exactly why the Shield Project is so important, and why putting something in a bill that requires them to take these trainings, not biannually, not every 2 years for fucking a 6-hour or 5-hour class where they go over 15 subjects, right? But every 6-month mandatory training all day on DARVO, coercive control, social media, and internet, period. Okay? We cannot have judges on the bench that have no fucking idea what someone's talking about. How will they make, because they're not allowed to then go back and do research on their cases. So we're tying their hands and not giving them the tools to make the proper decision. And that's how bad decisions get made. That's how people get hurt. We shouldn't be okay with that, ever. We should never be okay with that. Oh my God, I'm already an hour in and I totally already forgot to tell you, like my popcorn. Yeah, this is, we have some really good tea. We pop some popcorn in our popcorn machine, when we have some good tea, we just pop some popcorn and we put our sunglasses on over our glasses and we dance. No, I'm just kidding. We we talk about the tea and we eat our popcorn. Well, I talked about that on Friday. That the guy from Storage Wars most likely shot himself because of the cyber harassment that he was dealing with. Okay, like this is why should we wait for something like that to happen here? Because we've been on the cusp of it dozens of times with Aiden, dozens, and I mean fucking dozens. Why does that tragedy need to happen when we've warned about that tragedy over and over and over and over again, and we have begged and we have pleaded that someone is going to get fucking hurt or hurt themselves? Please do your job. They just stick their fingers in their ears. Thank you, Norfolk County. We appreciate you not doing your fucking job per usual. Thank you. You can bet your ass that if it was the DA's daughter, nephew, niece, if it was the state police's niece, nephew, father, daughter, sister, mother, aunt, uncle, they'd do something. They'd do their fucking job real quick. That's a problem. It shouldn't be who you know, right? It shouldn't be you get justice based on, knowing someone in power. Should be the same across the fucking board. Period. And we have a big problem, not just in Massachusetts with that, but all over the country. All over the fucking country. All over the country. And it's sad. It's fucking sad. But if we sit here and do nothing, guess what happens? Status quo stays the same. If we sit and do absolutely nothing about it, then we just watch it keep happening over and over and over again. And I don't know about you guys, but I refuse to sit there and do nothing, Yeah, the little girl from Texas, Yeah, schools never really have. And they took on this whole zero anti-bullying, 0% bullying. The problem with that is they still don't do anything. So they can say we don't we don't accept bullying in our schools, but what do you do when it happens? Nothing. You still do nothing. Oh, they need extensive. They don't even just need a little training. They need extensive training, in my opinion, because it's very clear to me that we have a multitude of judges who just simply don't know what the fuck they're talking about, and that's a problem. It's just fucking sad. It's just fucking sad. The whole thing is sad. I feel like I am like a broken record often. Often I'm just a broken record saying the same shit over and over and over and over and over. But it's like if I don't, the new people who start figuring out what they're dealing with, I don't know. What the fuck is that? Oh, shit. Yeah, if you openly admit you don't know what the fuck you're talking about, that's a problem. And that's the other thing. A lot of these judges are older, hence also why we need to have younger judges, okay? Why we need to vote them in, all right? Looks like Ethel Machado was just called out. Let's see. A couple hours ago on Twitter by Sue O'Connell. I'm not a fan of Sue, but let's see what she says. extra windows here so that I don't accidentally do that one. All right. This one. Sue O'Connell. Also, because I forgot to do all this, it is Sunday, my friends. It is our Sunday Funday. And for my channel and for the Shield Project, the only support that I get is from all of you. And so I don't have what Ethel here and these other people do, which is they feed off each other's audiences. They lie to their audiences and feed off of their audiences so that they can support their channels and they can, you know, make their money. I don't feed off of other channels and lying to my audience to do that, regardless of the fact that apparently, you know, it brings in more money to lie to your audience and just feed them what they want to hear. That's not who I am. It's not who I will ever be. And so unfortunately, it's a lot harder for my channel, especially smaller, to survive. So I'd appreciate if you all hit the like button. I'd appreciate that. I would appreciate that if you aren't subscribed, you hit that subscribe button as well. You let people know that we exist. There might be other people you talk to on Twitter or Facebook that don't even know we exist, you know? And it'd be nice to see some new faces. We have seen some new names and faces recently, which is really nice to see. And if you can, obviously, if you can support the channel in another way, we have many other ways to do so. And it is always super, super helpful. We have Cash App and Venmo. We have PayPal. We have Chime and Revolut for those of you out of country. We have a link pinned to the chat right now that works for any credit or debit card. You can enter any amount you want. You can remain anonymous. You can write any message you want that we can read. And we do have an Amazon wish list. It's in the description of the video as well. My goal for the Shield Project is to get people together and get them involved in passing law, right? Passing legislation to stop this behavior and hold accountable the people who need to be held accountable. People like Aiden and our very own judges and DA's offices, right? Like they need to be held to the standard of doing their job and not just using, quote, discretion as a way out of dealing with something uncomfortable or something hard, right? And so my goal for the Shield Project maybe eventually would be to create an organization. But for now, it is to create a place where all these people can come together and stop this behavior from happening all over the country as a whole. We can help one another in, you know, say for instance, there are 2 people in Rhode Island, 5 in New Jersey, 20 in Massachusetts, and only 2 for Texas. You know, once we're done writing stuff up and calling and emailing for Massachusetts, we'll move on to help. Some of us from Massachusetts will come and step in and help the people in Texas. We can get this not just passed as a state law in each state, but maybe as a federal law, right? The goal would be to make sure that this can't happen in our communities where we live, right? This cannot happen. It doesn't have to get on a ballot. That's one way to do it. Another way to do it is to bring it to your lawmakers. And I've done this before. I've literally already done this. This is something I have already done. I worked years and years and years to get certain legislation passed. Like this is something I have done. I helped Massachusetts Coalition for the Homeless, and I testified on many, many occasions with our lawmakers and spoke to them, answered their questions about all sorts of things that have to do with homelessness and low-income families here in the state of Massachusetts. And so, you know, that's something that I really, I've already done. You know what I mean? But it takes more than one person to do it, right? And I've worked with other medical stuff for people with rare diseases to get things passed that insurance will cover. My daughter is one of those cases where she is basically one of less than 200 on planet Earth. So the insurance companies always have a problem trying to deny her treatment, right? And it's because they have nothing to compare it to. So for cancer, they can say, okay, well, we're not going to give you this cancer medication because this one is one that people use all the time that works. Why do you need this specific one? With my daughter, they have nothing to compare it to. There's nothing to say, this is what is usually used in this circumstance. So they usually say, why is it medically necessary? And they argue with the doctors about why would they approve this? And it's like, because it's, so I worked with a organization here in Massachusetts to help get legislation passed to make it a little easier for people with very rare diseases to get their medical treatments through the insurance companies without the insurance companies stopping their treatments or putting them at risk of dying without those treatments because they were either experimental or they had a very rare disease and there was nothing to compare it to, right? So like, this is something I've done already. So I have the tools basically, right, to help other states and other people get it done in their states so that not all of Aiden's victims are here in Massachusetts, right? They're all over the country. I mean, Nan lives in New Jersey, right? And Barry lives in Florida, and he's got no problem cyber stalking her into oblivion or threatening her into oblivion. This can't just be a Massachusetts thing. This has to happen in other states, right? We have to make this a everywhere thing, right? And I can't do that alone. It's one thing to do it just in my own state and push for it here. If you get sponsors on your legislation, right, and co-sponsors, they can put it to a vote. And you don't have to get it on the ballot, right? That's a way to skip past the whole like petition ballot. And that's hard. It's not an easy way to get shit done, dude, at all. But if you can get lawmakers to listen to you, to take a meeting, to understand why it's important, to get people to testify who are victims of it, why it's important, right? And people who have helped those victims or people who have watched it go down also email and testify to why it's an important thing, you're more apt to get a sponsor and co-sponsor for that bill to be written up, right? And work with the lawmakers to get it passed, you know? So it's something that I want for the Shield Project, is for people to get involved. I can't do it all alone. It has to happen, it has to happen. And I'm not the only one, of course, that wants it to happen. There are so many victims, right? And ongoing over and over and over. And not just of Aiden, there's other people out there who are doing this shit. And it's like, there's no consequences for them other than civil suits. And not everyone can afford to spend $100 grand, $200 grand, $300 grand, $400 grand, $500 grand and up on a civil suit to sue someone for defamation to hold them civilly accountable. We need criminal penalties for torturing people's real lives by using internet minions, right? Like, that's the bottom line. And then we need other changes in our system, right? One of which being, we can't have judges that don't know what the fuck they're doing, dude. They need to be trained, and not biannual training. That's ridiculous, right? We can't have judges on the bench that don't know how the fucking internet works or social media. I mean, 99.9% of cases these days have social media or some sort of technical, internet portion of it. How do you get a judge who has no fucking idea what you're talking about, right? Coercive control in Darvo is not a well-known thing, right? A lot of people have no idea what it is or what signs to look for, and it shows in our judges that they're completely oblivious to what it actually looks like, okay? We need better protections for people like Aiden who are bringing in false and fabricated evidence into a court, and the judges are allowing it to be entered as a piece of evidence. Meanwhile, he has made this entire text up with your name and picture, right? Saying it was you or claiming it was you when it was him, right? Or an email that he fabricated and said it was you. And the court is allowing him to enter that as a piece of evidence to save his own ass. He's been allowed to do that so many fucking times. Like, he should be charged with obstruction of justice because many times it's been proven afterward he did it. Why in none of those instances did they go, okay, well, we can now prove that he did this. Why didn't they charge him with it? Why the fuck didn't they charge him with it? You know what I mean? Like, these are the things that I need the Shield Project to handle. And I'm only one person. So I need as many people as humanly possible who would love to join the Shield Project and help volunteer to do these things, to make a difference in our own communities where we live, because you could be the next victim. I never thought in a million years I would have to crawl out of a sea of fucking lies that a sewer turtle placed atop me. What do you mean? There's judge trials all the time. You have the right to choose whether you want a jury trial or a judge trial. In the instance you take a judge trial, how do you have a judge that makes a proper decision if they don't know 90% of the case? So what do you mean? You know what I mean? Like, if you take a judge trial and the judge has no idea what the fuck is a restraining order, right? Those are important. Harassment prevention order, whether or not to let a piece of evidence in. There are many scenarios where a judge who doesn't understand is overseeing these things, and these things are affecting the outcome of the case, right? That's a fucking huge problem. That's a huge problem. Hello, Space Ghost, my friend. It's a huge problem. Not always. In the state of Massachusetts, the head judges of every place have the right to pick and choose what cases they want to take. So they're not always chosen at random. Also, the head judges sometimes are the ones who decide which judge takes what. So it's, again, like, most of the judges might not be able to decide who takes what, but again, that's why they all need to be trained, every last one of them, and not just one or two or three, but they all need to be trained, all of them. You know? And the head judges are allowed to pick and choose what cases they take, or if they move another judge off of it to take it. They do get to pick and choose. So, you know, that's weird. Yeah, you got to go to like New Hampshire, or if you know some of the places online that will send them to you, you got to know, you know. You got to know. Massachusetts has just so many things wrong, and it's not just us, right? This happens in many other states all across the country, and all over the world. You know, there different ways of changing these things. But here in Massachusetts and in other states, the best way is by people pushing forward on it, right? If we remain silent, we say nothing, and we just talk about it here, well, nothing changes. The standard stays the same, guys. It stays the fucking same. That's what happens, is the standard stays the same and nothing fucking changes. You know? Well, I mean, that's not always true. We've had some judges in their early 30s, and I think that's fairly young enough to know the internet. You know, I'm in my 30s. And yeah, they got to do their time as attorneys, but we also can't have judges, if they're 50 and 60 years old, that they aren't trained enough to, you can be as old as you want to be, 50, 60, but you should know these things, right? Especially in this day and age. The digital age is not an excuse for you to not know these things as a judge, especially when it's going to have a lot of impact on these cases, right? Like it is. LTG, my friend, thank you for your $10 donation. I appreciate you, my friend. Oh, another one here real quick. I appreciate you, YVE. Appreciate you, my friend. I would love to live in Miami. That would be so fun. I am jealous, Marsha. That sounds like so much fun. Oh, I have $100 donation. That's so nice. Thank you so much. I'm not gonna read her name because I have not gotten the permission to do that, but she knows who she is and she knows I appreciate her. It might be, but if I can, but that's the point, right? You put a goal that's a little over, right? And then you let them, right now it's biannually. So if I can get it at least even once a year, right? You start with every 6 months, right? And they go, okay, every 6 months is a little much, we think. Okay, cool. Then how about we do it once a year then? If it's biannually now, right? So you start with something that's a little lofty so that you can get somewhere in the middle, you know? It's negotiation tactics, my friend. If I start with 1 year, they're going to say like, no, the biannual is fine. You know what I mean? Like you gotta shoot for the moon, my friend. Like you gotta shoot higher, and then you meet somewhere in the middle. That's usually where it happens. I just love your comment. I appreciate you, YB. Thank you so much. You know, I sometimes myself need pep talks. I'm not kidding. I sometimes do need a good old pep talk myself. It's hard watching people be victimized over and over and knowing what's happening and knowing that so many people are turning a blind eye or making excuses for Aiden or pretending that the things that he didn't do, or pretending the evidence isn't sitting right in front of them. They just ignored it or explained it away. It's really fucking hard watching people be brainwashed, buy into nonsense, and then eventually realize that that's what happened, right? Because I cannot speak to the amount of people who have apologized to me and been like, I am so sorry. I should have seen it. I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. I don't know why I supported him. I don't know why I just blindly believed him. And they say the same thing. You're right. Once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? But I think about that all the time. I think about all the people right now, they're doing that exact thing, right? They're defending, they're making excuses, who are eventually going to figure out what's going on. And it's like, at least the people who apologize had the balls to do it. There are so many more people that don't bother apologizing to the people that they hurt on behalf of him and just never say anything again when they figure it out because they're so embarrassed. And it's like, I have more respect for the people that apologize and say, I was wrong and I'm sorry, because you did damage to someone's real life, at least in my case with some of these people. Like, you did damage to someone's real life. The least you could fucking do is put your big boy or big girl pants on and say, I'm sorry. I'm fucking sorry. It just, I realize that not everyone is me, right? So not everyone's going to do the same thing I would do. But a lot of you came from figuring it out on your own, right? A lot of you figured it out on your own. And I'm glad that you did, right? It does give me hope that a lot more people will figure it out. But when you're watching some of the sewer crew and they're idiots, it's hard. It's fucking hard to watch it and then be like, why do people want to support that and not changing things, right? Like, why do they not want to support changing the status quo and making sure this doesn't happen to people again? Why do they want to support someone who is destroying innocent people's lives to hide his own bad behavior? He's been doing it for over a decade, And so sometimes I even need a pep talk, because sometimes I myself am like, I fucking give up. I give up. I'm screaming to the void. We're doing this, and like, it's not working, right? And so sometimes I need a pep talk of my own to know that it is, because I'm human, right? Just like everyone else. And so when I have a bad week or a bad month, I'm like, what is this doing anything? Am I changing anything? Am I making any sort of difference? And then sometimes I have to have people who care about me point out, like, look at this that happened because you did this, and look at this that happened because you helped this person. And like, sometimes I even need a pep talk, right? Because it's so fucking hard to sit there and watch bad shit happen to people all the time so that one man can get away with the shit that he has done. The rest of them only care about riding off of the back of him to have the cult also give them money, because apparently people just want to see ugly and evil. It's unfortunate, but I feel like people more often just want to see ugly and evil than they want to see change, and that's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. My goals are different, but it's still frustrating as just a human being. It's frustrating as a human. I'm only one human, I'm one fucking human, and I can only do so much, right? I can only help so many people. I can only, do so much. And so I always stretch myself too thin. It's one of my, problems myself, is like, I never say no when it comes to helping someone unless they're like the worst of the worst, right? So I don't say no, right? I do whatever I can do to help them. And so I stretch myself too thin, right? I'm always like helping 5 people over here do this and 3 people over here, and trying to do the show, and, trying to do research for the show and pull records and, get here, do that. So it's like, I stretch myself too thin, and I know that. But if I don't, like, I need my brain to just be like doing things all the time. You know what I mean? Like, that's the bottom line. I have CPTSD. I need my brain to be like doing something, whether it's, doing my housework and listening to music, or helping someone while I'm cleaning, like, on the phone with someone while I'm cleaning. Like, I need to be doing something, right? My body is failing me and has been since 2021-ish. And it gets worse and worse and worse as time goes over. I never thought at such an early age that it would feel like my body and life are being stolen from me by sickness and illness. I never would have guessed that. I've done physical jobs my entire life. I never, ever in a million fucking years would have thought that in my early 30s, I would be dealing with the significant health issues that I am dealing with right now, and that, get worse over time. And so I try to do as much as I can, but I can't, I can't do it all, right? I can't do it all. When did you send an email, Diana? Because I haven't even checked my emails today. So if you sent it today, it's because I haven't checked them today. You got to give me more than just an hour to answer, honey. I got a lot of stuff going on. So if I didn't answer right away, it's because I haven't seen it yet. And probably today wouldn't have been a best day for you to come on anyway. It's Sunday. I kind of just am all over the place on a Sunday. There's no one like topic like sometimes there is during the week. Like Sunday is just I'm all over the place day, you know? Yeah, well, like we negotiate, once you see the whole shit, you can't unsee it. That's the bottom line. He's abused the First Amendment and then cried about the First Amendment more than I've seen any person in life fucking do, you know? Oh, I love that. Well, right now it is it's biannually. Like that's what it is right now. And clearly it's not sufficient because we have judges who still don't know what the fuck is going on. You know what I mean? They have no idea what the fuck's going on. So I did. I talked about them in the beginning of the show. I showed pictures of them that were on the list because I already put the towel rack up and I already put the wire baskets together to put the trash bags in them and stuff so they're under the sink. But I showed the pictures of what they look like on the website. And I said, I'm pretty sure they were from Marsha. It didn't come with a slip, but I am pretty sure it came from you. So now that you're here, I say another thank you, my friend. I appreciate you. I appreciate you. Well, that's the thing, right? There's no movement there. He doesn't have a movement. He has a goal of like being the end all be all, like that's it. Like that's his goal, being the fucking end all be all. It's weird. It's fucking weird as hell. And he isn't doing fucking God's work. I love when people say that, there's no God's work that he is doing. What he's doing is harming innocent people to get away with crimes. There's a big fucking difference, a very large fucking difference. A very large difference. Very large difference. I appreciate you, Marcia. I do. I'm like a small, I said to my husband actually, when they came, I said, I am such a child, right? Like I'm such a little kid that like such small things like that make my heart happy. Like literally, like I'm like, oh damn, like this makes me so happy. Like I said earlier, I said I don't know who got the baker's rack, but like I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna get counter space back. I love this. I love this. Like I am just like I'm like, I love this. Like I need like for organization, like it's important for me to be able to put like this thing here and that thing there and like then have like the extra space. And like you guys don't like I don't again, since I don't have the capacity to do anything other than say thank you, I feel like saying thank you sometimes isn't enough. And I know that it should be, but if you know me, like as a person, I just feel like I should be doing something else to say thank you, although I know there isn't really anything else I can do. Because I am grateful, right? Like that's the difference. I'm extremely grateful. I appreciate that some people choose to support me by popping something off the Amazon wish list because it's things that I need for the house, right? Like it's something that eventually I would have to buy anyway, even if it took a really long time to get it. And so like, Lorelai grabbed she got the popcorn machine, right? And all the things that go with it, which was amazing. Cause I remember when Danny told me to put that on there. And funny enough, we have someone on Twitter who's like making jokes out of putting like a $400 popcorn machine on her Amazon wish list. I don't even know why she has one. She doesn't have a show, but whatever. And saying things like making fun of the fact that like I have a wish list, which is funny because she was around when my viewers are the ones who asked me to make it, because some people prefer to support a channel in that way instead of just cash. They choose to use whether it's an Amazon credit card, which is what originally one of my viewers had said, like, listen, I have an Amazon credit card and I really would like to help the channel. Could you make a wish list? Now that's what originally came of it, was someone asking me to make it because that's how they wanted to support the channel. And so I thought about it and I was like, okay, that's not a bad idea. Maybe other people prefer to do it that way. Whatever way someone prefers to support the channel, I appreciate. And so that person and their minions can make fun of wish lists until the cows come home. I don't give a shit. Funny enough that all these people are now making wish lists, right? Funny enough, they took enough time out of their day to say something about mine, right? But reality in my book is that they must just be jealous, because why all of a sudden is it okay for them to have a wish list? Now, mind you, these are channels of like 50,000 or more, right? These aren't smaller channels like mine. These are 50,000 or more. So they're getting along just fine without a wish list. You know what I mean? Like they could buy everything probably on their own. I think Aiden said at one point, like, I could buy everything on my own, you know? Like that's, so it's amazing to me, like amazing to me that they have anything to fucking say. It just has to make me laugh sometimes, you know? You just, you have to. You just fucking have to, dude. You just have to fucking laugh about it. It's just like there's nothing else you can fucking do but laugh. Like, you know? They do, but there's certain things they're not allowed to do. You know, like they're not even supposed to consult other judges on stuff. Like they do, right? But they're not supposed to. And if they get caught doing it, like that's a big problem, right? So, you know, that's the thing, you know? Oh, I appreciate you, Marsha. I remember when you told me to put that thing on there, Danny. I remember when you told me to put that thing on there. It's so funny. Because now that we like, listen, if you want to use my fucking name to put your own wish list out there, bro, you don't have to try to like quote insult me to do it. Okay. Like just do it. Don't use me under fucking false pretenses, dude, to get people to buy things off your wish list, right? Just say you fucking have one. Put your big girl or big boy panties on and say, hey guys, I made a wish list. Buy things if you want. Don't use me as some sort of caveat of, ha ha ha, guys, Twisted has a wish list, so I thought I would do this. Like, grow the fuck up, dude. If you want to put your own wish list out there, fucking put it out there, bro. All the more power to you. The fuck? Like, right? They're just jealous they don't have a popcorn machine. You're just mad. You don't have a popcorn machine. And a pink one. Just saying. Well, that's the thing, though. He doesn't advocate for anyone but himself. You can't be an advocate who is selfish, right? That's not how it works. I can't imagine, and believe you me, even the people out there on fucking Twitter running their mouths about me, funny enough, I bent over backwards to help one of those people. Bent over fucking backwards, turned myself into a damn pretzel, answered every phone call, helped as much as I humanly could because I know I have the knowledge to do it, right? So imagine trying to shit on someone who was nothing but kind to you, did nothing but help you, simply because you want to believe Grant conspiracy tales that like Twisted must work for Kate Peter or some other fucking wild nonsense that has zero truth to it whatsoever. Like imagine using that as your idea of why you would shit on someone who did nothing but be kind and help you. That's fucking wild to me. That's absolutely fucking wild and selfish, really. It's fucking selfish. Absolutely fucking selfish. I will figure it out, I promise. You know how busy I've been in between fucking dealing with doctors and going back to the specialist. Just a lot. I mean, it makes sense, but he doesn't advocate for anybody but himself, you know? I mean, it wasn't even my idea. It was my viewer's idea. And I, you know, no problem sort of giving them what they ask for. You know what I mean? Like if that's the way that people want to do it, like cool, then I have no problem adding that, right? Like, yeah, of course they were. They're just jealous they don't have a pink popcorn machine. All right. They're just mad. They're just upset that they don't have one. And again, if you have to try to shit on someone who bent over backwards to help you, it speaks more about you than it does me. See, I'm not a mean person, right? So I don't have to go on and on and on and on and on about I did this, I did that, I did that, I did this, and kick off every instance of help that I gave that person. I'm not a shitty enough person to sit there and bash someone over and over and over, but I'm also not going to allow someone to just try to insult me when I did nothing but help them and be kind to them because it's just shitty behavior. You're a grown-ass fucking adult, dude. If you have a problem, I have a phone number. Like the fuck? I have a phone number and you have it. So if you have a problem, we can have an adult conversation if you want. I don't know what your problem would be other than some wild conspiracy theory, but hey, to each his own. You know? To each his own. Fetch points. Oh my God, does fetch still exist? Is that a thing? I mean, I don't buy anything. See, that's the difference. Like, I don't buy shit. Like, unless it's groceries. Like, I buy, groceries. Like, you know? Yeah. Well, a lot of them do. That's the thing. I look once someone asked me to do it, I looked into it and found that a ton of streamers have them because their audiences ask for them. Like, then that makes sense. If that's the way that some people choose to support a channel, why is that not okay? If that's the way people want to, then why not let them? I don't understand. Like, no one's forced to do anything. No one's forced to support my channel. No one's forced to hit the like button. No one's forced to send money or something from the wish list. Like, they do that out of the kindness of their own heart. And I appreciate that more than they will probably ever know. Right? I appreciate it. And so Weasel Boy, that's a good one. I like that one, Marcia. It's just sad, Throne. What's a throne wish list? It goes to rails. I didn't even know that was a thing. I didn't know you could do that. Like, more, is it like multiple stores, YBE, that you can do? I forget who I asked. It was like 2 years ago, but I was like, is there a way to make, like, I think it was like an animal shelter I was trying to help, but like it was cheaper to get the dog food at one place and a cat food at the other. And I was like, is there a way to make like a wish list for like different stores, but one list? And I don't think we ever figured out whether there was, but I always wondered that. That's smart though. That's smart. I don't really buy much other than like bills. You know what I mean? You can't get fetch points for fucking paying your rent or your electricity or unfortunately, I love it. It's so nice. I love it. The kids love it, I do love Weasel Boy, though. It's a pretty good one. It's not novel and unique, absolutely not. It not only was it not nonsense, it was nonsensical. It was made as a way to just, say I'm quote bad. Meanwhile, here he is asking for, toilet plungers after shitting on like people asking for like, things like tablecloths and toilet paper, like, and here you are asking for a plunger, and that's okay. Like, it just doesn't, it makes no sense. You know what I mean? Like, it makes no there's no rhyme or reason, Ooh, books are a good idea. See, I don't read like books anymore. Everything is like digital now, and eventually I'm going to need to upgrade my streaming equipment, mainly my audio. I think my video is pretty good, other than like the only other way I could update my video would be to get an actual like camera, like an expensive one, and those are like $400 or $500 for like a decent one, so I'm not quite there yet, but eventually it'd be that and like better audio, and yeah, you would upgrade your stream, but right now it's sufficient. My streaming equipment is sufficient for a small channel, and I'm all right with that. It's that too. It's the holier than thou attitude that they can do whatever they want. It's totally okay. But if anybody else did something, then it's bad they did it. It's just fucking wild. It's the hypocrisy that gets me. It's the hypocrisy. Girl, listen, mine's on time, but like then there's nothing left. You know what I mean? Like fucking $2,200 is a lot of money. Like that, there's nothing left after that. You know what I mean? Like after you pay the electric, the gas, and the electric in Massachusetts is higher than everywhere else in the country except 4 places. Okay, so it is fucking up there. And after the rent, and that's the highest in the country, cost of living, the rent, the gas, the electric, like you're lucky to be able to pay the fucking internet and buy groceries after that. Like, because I don't have anything I don't need. Like, I don't have cable. We don't have cable. We use streaming services, one of which is connected to my phone and my phone bill, and one's connected to his and his phone bill. So it gets paid, like, it's like in the price of my phone bill. So like he gets Disney Plus on his and I get Prime on mine. And so like, you know what I mean? It's already in the cost of the phone bill to get those streaming services for free. It's not really free because you're paying for it in the cost of your phone bill, but like it was a perk of getting that plan, Yeah, I mean, it's a good idea. I'm probably going to, that's the other thing is my phone is so fucking old. I can't even download another goddamn app on it. I need a new phone so bad. So fucking bad. Well, that's his thing, is narratives, right? Just putting out a fake narrative. That's all he does. A narrative that he wants people to believe, and then he runs with that narrative. That's the only thing he's good at. It's similar to most other cult leaders, which is repeating the same thing, like mantras, like repeating mantras enough that people say them enough, they believe them, and then they pass them on to other people. It's brainwashing techniques, It's brainwashing techniques. I feel like his is the commune to be just, Oh, hey, Standings. Nice to see you, my friend. I feel like it just is, you know? Interesting. I'm gonna have to look into that again. I forget. We looked into it for a while ago. I don't remember what the fuck it is now, but oh, I read to my kids so much when they were little, so much when they were little, so much when they were little. I don't know. I was just always one of those people that like, you know, when my kids were like, before they could even talk, I'd be like, this is a water bottle. Say water, you know what I mean? Like, but also, I mean, whatever I was doing worked because all three of my girls were like, pop, 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 talking like well beyond what they should have been by the time they were like 1.5. You know, I helped my nephew become, he stopped talking around 1. He said like 10 words and then he stopped, wouldn't say anything else. He would only make noises and point. And so my sister was getting really worried about that by the time he was like 1.5, 2. And so I was the one who was watching him while she worked every day. And so I started doing what I did with my kids when they were younger with him then. And now he's in kindergarten and won't shut up. You know what I mean? He's still a little behind on like the scale of where he should be because it took him so long to be able to talk. He went from nonverbal to verbal, right? That's important. What do you mean? Is it ordered by priority? I mean, there's things on there that I like can say like I would prefer, right? Like this is highest priority, this is highest priority, but no, people just pick things off of it that they think I want or need or they like and think I would like. And so, I mean, people just pick what they want to pick off of it to buy, you know? I put things of all different price points on there and they pick. I'm gonna have to, I feel I'm gonna have to delete like a lot of pictures. I have a lot of screenshots. I feel like that's part of my problem, but also my phone is old. It's just not like I I have to like delete an app to basically like download another app. It's crazy. Um this week, well, there's definitely not something huge, but there's definitely something this week that I can't really delve into at the moment. But it's something we've sort of already talked about a little. So that's, you know, it, but I think the most active week this month um, will be fucking May, the week of May 14th, 15th, 16th, because there's several hearings within that week, you know. Um, oh, girl, listen, I feel you on that. I put 2 on there, honestly. Hot summer is not our friend. I feel you on that. If anybody does anybody else here have POTS? Among other things, the heat makes you feel like you're gonna fucking pass out. And so I have, I think I recently put 2 of, because what I did was I looked up like, because in my old apartment I could have 2 ACs and cool down most of the house, not the whole house, but most of it. But that was less square footage than where we live now. Where we live now is about 1,100 square feet. And so I have one, I think it's 10,000 air conditioner, and then I have one smaller, I think it's like a 4,000. So it's not, that'll cool like one small room. And so I definitely need another either 8 or 10, at least one to put. I think you're supposed to put them at like opposite ends of the house. So you put one in my house, it'd be one in the kitchen, one in the bedroom, the master, because it would go like this, like straight there, the 2 opposite ends of the house. They literally walk in a straight line. You go from the kitchen into the master, and then one in the kids' room. And I feel like if you leave all the doors open, because the 2 bedrooms are like, if you walk out of the 2 bedrooms, you're in the living room. And then the office here where I am is off of the kitchen. So if you left these doors open with 3 air conditioners in the house, I feel like it could cool down the whole house. Now I'm not an expert, but I looked this stuff up. And so what it was is I would have to get like an 8,000 and a 10,000 BTU AC. So I think I put 2 on there. One was 8,000, one was 10,000. So I think that's the standard of like what would hopefully cool down the house, at least in theory. You know what I mean? In theory. Not an expert, but that's what I calculated based on what I looked up online. Oh, I love that. Books that you would recommend. John Perkins. Why have I heard that name before? Must realist fans pay his, well, yeah, they pay his legal fees. He, in a way, provides a service and people pay for it. There are ways to look at this. Well, to be fair, he is a fucking joke, so there's that. I appreciate you. That's really kind of you. And that's, listen, I don't care what the brand is. I don't give a shit what brand it is. See, I'm not one of those people who's like, I need the most expensive kind, best brand ever. I don't give a shit what brand it is. As long as it pumps out cold air, I don't care. Like, I am not bougie like that. I am grateful. I am not, listen, I am not a picky person. I am not below, taking a cheaper version of it at all. At all. At all. Listen, I'm not one of those people. Anything that's going to cool the house down for me is a fucking win in my book, because I'm not going to be able to buy one anytime soon. So, I totally get what you're saying, Dove Freeze. I understand what you're saying. I totally get it. But that was really nice of you, Cat's Pajamas. That's really sweet. And if you have the same thing I have in the hot summer, you know exactly what it's like. And not just for me, but my oldest, with her, she can't deal with like hot heat like that either. It's like, especially anybody with pots, like it literally, I can't even take like I used to be able to take the most scalding hot showers on planet Earth, like scalding hot. Like I loved them hot. My husband takes them real hot. I can't do that anymore. Mine has to be like hot, but like more on the like getting closer to the lukewarm than it is like hot, scalding hot, because then I feel like I can't breathe, start getting dizzy, and I can't do it. And it sucks because unless I'm in the water where I'm automatically cooled down, and that's probably why I love the Saco trip so much too, is not just because it's beautiful and it's outside, but I'm actively in the water. And so I can actually handle being outside even if it's hot, because my butt is in the water and it's cooling my body down. So I don't feel like I'm going to freaking pass out, and I like, it's only the one trip we take every year to just be with people. I don't have a lot of family, so it's usually friends that I love and care about, and maybe my sister-in-law and her boyfriend. And it's one of those things that you're like, I can do now. I used to love hiking. I can't hike up mountains anymore. I Mount Monadnock a couple of times. I physically can't do that kind of stuff anymore. Oh, that's so nice of you, Cat's Pajamas. I think I know there's a way to do it from Canada, but I'm not really sure how. Someone told me though how. I forget though. I forget how. There is a way to do it from like Canada, from the US, like from Canada to the US from Wishlist, but I completely forget how to do it. Someone had told me one time how, but I wonder, yeah, if you have Prime in Canada, that makes no sense. I wish they would just let you, like, if you have it in Canada and you're buying from a wish list in the US, I feel like why they should just like give you, like, you know what I mean? Like, let you use it. You know what I mean? Like, you already pay for Prime. I don't know. It's weird. I never thought about it that way either. Like, you're in a different country. Like, you'd have to pay for like Prime in a different country. Like, that's crazy. It should go on the wish list. I have Prime, so it should like just, go based on that. I feel like, I'm at 12,000 in for a double room, which is more than big enough. I could have gone smaller, but the 12K doesn't have to go full force. I mean, that's good. 7,000 for a smaller. Yeah. So my rooms are pretty big. That's the other thing I was thinking about when I like looked up how much it would take to like cool the house down, is they're not like, none of the rooms are small. Like I used to have 2 small rooms. None of the rooms are like small. I think the smallest we have besides the bathroom obviously is the living room. The bedrooms and office are all fairly big. Like from what you guys can see this much, but like there's a whole other half of the room over here. So like it's a fairly large room. The kids' room is even bigger next door. And then my room is the end of the house. And that's, I'd say, a little bit smaller than the kids' room. But we have the 2 closets. So, square footage, if you open the closet's probably bigger, but we have 2 closets in the master. So, but the small, and the kitchen's big, and they're all wide open spaces. That's the thing, right? They're all big spaces. So like from what I understand, it said it would take somewhere between like 2,500 and like almost 3,000 BTUs total of the house to cool down the house. So that means you'd have to get like two 10,000s and an 8,000 or three 10,000s to cool down the whole, and maybe a smaller 4,000, like for, you know what I mean? Like maybe the office, I don't know. Like you would have to be like between 25 and 3,000. And they said something about adding per like level. I'm on the 3rd floor. So I guess you have to like, I didn't do the exact math, but they say something about 10% or something like that, go up 10% for like up each floor you're up, and I'm on the 3rd. So I don't know. That's when I looked into it, I was like, all right, this is cuckoo. Like this is because they're expensive. Like, why are they so fucking expensive? Why are the air conditioners so fucking expensive? You look at for like a 4, 5, or 6,000 BTU one, you're almost $200 right there. Never mind a bigger one. Like what? Like that's crazy. Like that's fucking crazy. Who's gonna afford that? That's nuts. Like, and then think you gotta need 2 of them. That's like almost $1,000 for 2 ACs to try to cool your home down in the summer, especially if heat rises. Right? I'm on the 3rd damn floor. Like I've had my heat off for like a month, I feel like. Even when it gets cold out, my house is still warm because it's freaking hot up here, you know? I have the windows open and I'm barely getting a breeze because I'm all the way up and I feel like at the top of the world up here. Like, I find it interesting, you know? I find it interesting, like how many, you know, like BTUs you need to do a house or an apartment, you know? The houses are different, right? I have no idea. Places without central air are becoming less and less. So that's the so weird thing. Here in Massachusetts, we're like one of the only fucking states it's not like required to have like ACs in like the schools and shit. Like the schools don't have ACs. So when summertime comes, there's no AC kicking in the classroom for these kids. Like it is hot. They have like a fucking fan and it's hot in there, you know? And so like landlords are not required to have air conditioners in your unit. Like in Florida, for instance, I think you have to have the air conditioners there. It's like part of like, you know, in certain states, like they have to have air conditioners. We don't have that here. Like we have to get them on our own. You got to buy them on your own, whether you rent or not. So like that becomes quite fucking expensive when you have a larger family or a family of 5 like mine, you know? Yeah, she is getting a ring tomorrow. I haven't even seen a picture of her yet, but this is fucking horrible. That whole story is horrible. That's the other thing. Shipping fees is so fucking wild, dude, on some of them, you know? That's crazy. Oh, you did? That's crazy. Yeah, see, you probably know more about it than I do. I'm not too like, you know, technical when it comes to like going country to country like that, but I know other people know how to do it, you know? That's the other thing. Some available, some aren't available in Canada versus the US. Oh yeah, you guys don't have Venmo. Well, that's also, but that's why I got Revolut though. I got Revolut because people in other countries asked me to. They said, listen, we don't have Venmo, we don't have Cash App, but we want to do so. Can you get something that'll work for other countries? So I got Revolut. And Revolut is an app, just like Venmo or Cash App, but it works between multitude of countries. US to Canada, Canada to UK, UK to here, all different, like, you know, China, like I'm talking all sorts of countries you can send and receive. And right in the app, they give you a card just like Venmo or Cash App. You can use it as a debit card. Right in the app, I can exchange it from that into US dollars right away. And so it's pretty cool. I didn't know it existed. I had to do some research to find something for people who were out of country who were asking. But I'm glad I did because to be fair, the exchange rates, you guys, are better than PayPal. Just throwing it out there. I mean, because obviously most people use PayPal, but the exchange rates on Revolut seem to be much better than PayPal in their fees, just saying. Oh, the Hanson Pop. Forgot about that one. I forgot about that one. You think they're reasonable? I mean, when I was looking for them on Amazon, they were like 400, 300. And I'm like, I mean, I guess for some people that's reasonable. For me, that's a week of groceries. Like that's a week of groceries for my house. Like that's not feasible at the moment. Like also that's the other thing. I live in Massachusetts where it's really freaking expensive. Like some of the most expensive things here are rent, food, utilities. Like those are so high living here. Our cost of living is through the fucking roof. There is no reason that my tiny little state of Massachusetts should be rivaling the cost of living of Hawaii and California. Hawaii is an island and California is like 1 million of Massachusetts in one. You know what I mean? You can put like 1 million little Massachusettses in California. You know, we should not be rivaling those prices at all. I don't know why we are. It's fucking wild. It's wild. But they need to do something to bring these costs down for us because we're drowning over here. Literally drowning. Like, it is crazy. Like, absolutely bonkers. But I know that I found two of the most reasonably priced ones that I could for like the BTUs I needed and popped them on there and just, you hope for the best. And if not, you figure it out, you got to portion off parts of your house with like, drop sheets to stay in certain rooms. It's hard though, because if you need to cook in the kitchen and like the kitchen is the last place that you're going to cool, usually, right? You want the sleeping areas to be cool. So you go into the sleeping areas first, or your lounging areas, so that, because if you're only going to be in the kitchen to cook or whatever, that's the last place you can put the ACs. I always put them to where people are able to sleep first, the kids and us, because that's where you're going to be, in the lounging areas or, in the bedroom. So I think it was $448 for a 10,000 BTU and $359 for an 8,000 BTU. Like, it was, like, they're expensive. Like, I guess depending on where you get them. I thought about like trying to make an Amazon wish list to put them on there, but sometimes Amazon uses, Walmart, but they also use third parties. And some of their third party sellers have like cheaper ones, but then they end up coming used, broken, like whatever. So you got to be very careful with Walmart and their third party sellers, because they do use third party sellers. Walmart 6,000 BTU. Yeah, but you got to look at the seller. That's the other thing. You got to look at the seller. So they have like I just said, third-party sellers, but some of them are not like reputable, if that makes sense. So it might be cheaper, but then when you get it, you have broken pieces, missing pieces. It's already been used. It's broken. Like, believe me, we had that problem before. So you got to be careful on. You got to look at the reviews, and you got to look. So that's what I do. I always check the reviews, and not just the first couple, but like you go deep into there and see what people have to say about people who bought it. You know what I mean? Because the first couple of people that buy it, some companies will give it to them and have them put good reviews on purpose. So you got to be careful with that stuff, Yeah, block off the upstairs if you have to, block off the downstairs if you have to. I don't have an upstairs, downstairs, unfortunately. It's just one floor, but you block off rooms if you have to. You know what I mean? Like, I did that when we were kids too. My parents had to, they had to. Yeah, you got to section off the rooms if you have to. I've had to do it. You got to do what you got to do, my friends. You got to do what you got to do. Let's see. Oh yeah, this tweet. So Ethel Machado was called out on this one. So Sue O'Connell, I forget what's her company, where does she work? NBC Boston. She's a commentator on NBC Boston. And so she said it would be a good moment for Jess to disclose that she's a participant in the news story she's covering. Serving as chair of the Somerset delegation at the Massachusetts Republican Convention, and disclose the candidates she supported. Transparency matters. So she put a post up that said, your political dream team were all in attendance at the Mass GOP convention yesterday. Make sure you're following these people. John Gately, Agent Urban, Mass Daily News. We are all independent journalists working for Massachusetts and you. But that's a good point. If you're doing a news story and you are participating in it and you are chair of the Somerset delegation of the Mass Republican Convention, you should probably disclose that before you start telling people which, people they should be following and looking at, like, come on. So, Jen, so what are your thoughts about a quote journalist who talks about another woman's vagina with her husband? That's fucking gross. The fact that she does that, it's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Moni, somebody reported your account? Shut the hell up. That's fucking crazy. That's crazy. That's fucking crazy. Uh-oh. Aiden Rat Kearney is seething with jealousy of Nick Entrepreneur Rocco, and it's fabulous to see. Is he having a fucking crash out right now? I can't. I can't. Is he having a crash out over Nick Rocco? Oh yeah, it's definitely worth it for a good one. And the summers suck here. It's whether you can afford that $300 or not. I think that's what makes the difference, Oh, thank you, Jesse. See, that's the other thing. The stand-up, I tried the stand-up ones, okay? I tried them, and it's more like a fan than it is an AC. It was not good. So I don't recommend. I don't recommend. Unless you buy a very, very expensive one, I don't recommend. Yeah, I got one of these last year, and it was more like a fan, and it came broken parts, missing parts. This is exactly the kind that I got last year, Jesse. This one right here. And that's what it was supposed to be, 10,000 BTU. You know what it came as? It was, quote, 6,000 is what it came as, even though it said 10,000. And it was more like a fan than it was an AC. It didn't really do dick. That's why I just said, and by the way, I said not recommend before I pulled the picture up of what you sent me, which is the stand-up one that goes in the window. I tried exactly this last year, and it was more like a fan. It didn't do anything, unfortunately. It was terrible. That's not bad. Depending on how many BTUs though, Magic. That's the key. It depends on how many BTUs, you know. Oh yeah, we'd all be hood boogers, you know. We would all be that. What's so funny to me is Aiden drove like a 10-year-old car before the Karen Reed case, okay? And he didn't call himself a hood booger for, you know, what did his ex-wife say, for leaving all weekend to F broads while his kids were there asleep at the house. And he was like, well, at least I waited until they went to sleep. Like, that's your excuse? Hey, at least I waited to cheat on my wife till my kids went to sleep. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? Yeah, the window ones are good. Those blow some nice cold air. But I find this funny, that he is seething at the moment, you know? Oh my God, stop it. Penelope from Criminal Minds. I love Penelope. She was one of my favorites from Criminal Minds. Oh God. So she comments on what Sue says and makes a video about it. Another example of mainstream media flat out lying.
I'm here as a member of the press. I'm a member of the press today. I'm also a delegate today. And I'm also here on behalf of the Keneally campaign. I'm here as a...
Okay, so why would that be you flat out lying? That's not disclosing it to the general public. You need to make a post to do that. Not everybody's going to watch your, live streams, Jess Machado. Like, I think Sue's point was, did you post and let people know when you're making these other posts about following these people that you are there for certain candidates and you're a delegate? Like, come on, dude. Fucking come on. No, he can't keep it in his pants. So Sue's basically saying, like, so Jess is there as a delegate. Delegates get to vote on who they want to be that front runner for whatever, right? So she's there as a delegate. She's also there for a certain campaign, on behalf of a certain campaign, and also as a, quote, member of the press. So what she should be doing is disclosing to her audience that she, not just on her live streams, but in these posts, when she's telling people, you should follow this person and this person and this person running, well, maybe you should disclose that you in a post, that you are there on behalf of a certain person and that you are also a delegate, right? Like, that makes a difference. Like, you should be honest with people and not just steer them in the way of, oh, go, follow this person and like this person, this political person, because they're great politically. Like, maybe disclose, like, well, I think they're great politically because I am here on behalf of them and also I'm a delegate. Like, that, it's called transparency. You're being part of the story that you're, quote, reporting on. That's, it's a little, you gotta put your unbiased hat on and let people know, like, I might be a little biased in this because I am here on behalf of a specific person, but I'm also a delegate, right? Like, oh God, it's bad. I can't. I don't know how. And no, he cannot keep it in his pants, Missy. We know this, we know this. Oh God, I can't with some of these people. Microdots makes me sick at this point. The amount of simping for Aiden he does is kind of disgusting, Whoever's just, so her person didn't make the ticket. Thank fucking God. you know? Well, that's the thing. You can be vocal all you want, but most of her followers are on Twitter, right? And she's not writing that, right? She's not telling people that. She might be telling people that in a video on YouTube, but she is not telling the bulk of her followers, which are on Twitter, right? That's if that's transparency. You know what I mean? Like there's a big difference. If your bulk of your following is Twitter, right? And you're writing tweets all the time about this stuff, maybe you should disclose in those tweets these things, right? And I get Sue's point. She's right? Like that's, you know, that's weird. You shouldn't be, nobody should be watching how anyone voted. Like that, you shouldn't be able to even see. There's a booth, you go in, you vote, it's private. Like there's no reason you should know why anyone's voting for anyone. You shouldn't be over anybody's shoulder. You shouldn't be watching who they vote for. That's fucking weird. Like that's weird, you know? Yes, across your public platforms. If you're only saying it on your shows that half of your audience doesn't watch because they're on Twitter, you know, and you're saying it on half your shows on YouTube, that's not really being transparent, right? Most of her following is on Twitter, you know? Yeah, her person didn't make the cut. Didn't make the cut. Shocker, right? I know. Didn't make the cut. Did not make the cut. Oh, God. as I say that, this tweet pops up. Jen writes, hey, Mike Keneally, next time don't have trash like Joseph Machado supporting you and maybe you'll snag it. Ooh. Any candidate aligning with her is an automatic no for me as a Republican. I can't vote in mass anymore. No longer a full-time resident, but he should be ashamed for supporting her. It's cool. I'm an independent and I've voted for many Republicans, John McCain, Charlie Baker, Mitt Romney, George Bush, just name a few. I actually like Keneally, but never would have voted for him because of her and his ignorance in supporting her and ignoring the things she says and does. However, no is everything I don't want in a governor, so I'll have no choice but to vote for Mora. Oh, God, no, don't give me that choice. I don't want that choice. There's no booth. How is there no booth? Like, people have to vote. Like, there has to be a space for them to vote that's private, you know? Well, that's the thing. The reputation, you know, reputational damage, really. I don't know. I can't. Is this for real? I just saw this. A girl got killed. The killer took her iPhone, AirPods, piano, and her money. What's the first thing the killer took? No winner yet. A life? I don't know. Did anybody say a life? A life? Did anybody write a life? They had to have, right? Did no one say that? Like, if you're the killer, the first thing you took is the life, and then you took all those things. Like, like a life? Took a life if she's the killer? I mean, is that a hard question? The piano? The first thing the killer took. Oh, somebody else said it was her life. Like, the fuck, yeah, her life. Yeah, obviously. Okay, so I'm not the only one. Like, come on. The fuck? Okay, plenty of people said it. I'm not the only one. I'm like, what the hell? What do you mean no winner? I mean, is that like supposed to be a like you win something? I don't know, but that just seems like a interesting question. Let's see. What's this? I have heard it all. Just think she and her husband should run together for a Republican state committee ticket in 2028. Shut the fuck up. She didn't actually say this, did she? I can't. Oh God. We would win, as her husband laughs about the words Underwood. Oh my God. I have to hear this. Her voice is scratchy, but I have to hear it. She actually think that that's like a possibility she could ever win that. I mean, that's fucking crazy. That's still.
Then you're just wasting my fucking time. I will say we should run as a ticket, you and I together for state committee men and women. Husband and wives do very well.
Oh shit, the Underwoods. One nation, Underwood. Never mind. Clear.
But seriously, husbands and wives together on the state committee men and women ticket. That's not true. Jeff Deal and his wife are state committee men and women.
Oh my God. Do not. No, stop it. You are not Jeff Deal's wife, darling. Okay, stop. Stop it. For the love of God, please. Stop it. Okay? I can't do it. Oh God. I literally fucking can't. Okay. The gaslighting Aiden does. See ya, my friend. So it says, see what Aiden does, gaslights and lies, makes shit up, tries to insinuate shit, makes false calls just to get people in trouble and cause mental distress. Read this. His fans are just like him. They've learned from him. Aiden gets pure pleasure from this harassment. That's the only pleasure he has in his life. Money and harassment, not his kids, not his home, not even his skank of the week. This is the psychopath. He gets worse, more evil. He needs to go to jail for a long time. So Moni said, the gaslighting Aiden does, making out like he is concerned about that person's welfare. And you'll notice the cult do the same thing. They pretend to care and say things like, I'm concerned. Are you okay? You need help. Please seek help. Let's get them involuntarily committed for their own safety. This is gaslighting and it's disgusting. So it's Brett. Brett posted when Aiden wanted Brett to go on his show. And when he basically said no, he got his feelings hurt. And then he sent police to his house for a welfare check to like intimidate Brett. And of course it failed. He also tried to get a restraining order. And so these are the texts from that back then that Brett posted. So fucking crazy to me. Like the shit that these, and they're right. These people learn. Oh God, is this about the Roccos? Okay, let's see.
Nick Rocco.
John Rocco.
Oh, this is the he's obsessed with the Roccos thing.
Like,
Pretty
who are the
fun.
Roccos? Because, like, I'm a big Rocco fan. I am a huge fan of the Roccos.
Cool.
Nick Rocco.
John Rocco.
Roccos, because there's Jenna and there's Nick. Nick Rocco. Fuck Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco.
Nick Rocco. What?
The Roccos, Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco says, Nick Rocco.
Nick Rocco's.
Kill it, Nicky haircuts. And kill it, Nicky haircuts.
Nick Rocco's.
Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco's.
The Rocco's.
Nick Rocco.
Nick Rocco's.
Stop crying about Nick Rocco. I love Nick Rocco. What are you talking about, bro?
And the Roccos, like Nick Rocco. And I like Nick Rocco. Shitting on fucking Nick Rocco again. Nick Rocco. And I support Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco. The Roccos. You could say Nick Rocco did it all. Nick Rocco. And that's not a shot at Nick Rocco. The Roccos and Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco saved KI. And Nick Rocco. And that's not a shot at Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco. And I don't think Nick Rocco is a bad guy. Nick Rocco. The Nick Rocco isn't kind of like the PR guy for them. I'm a big Rocco fan. I'm a big Nick Rocco fan. Bro, nobody cares if the fucking Roccos don't support me. They have no influence. They don't matter. The Roccos for the Roccos.
Nick Rocco.
They have no influence. They don't matter. I love when he says that because you wouldn't be talking about us, Aiden, if we didn't matter, right? For instance, my name would never come out of your mouth ever if I, quote, didn't matter. I get under your skin, and I get under your skin because you're upset. You're upset that people have the right to tell the truth about you, and you're upset that you can't just shit on people. You know, you can't. Wait, you called Nick Rocco a cunt today? You called him a two-faced bitch? Shut the fuck up. Did he do that? I fucking can't. Did he do that? OMG, I fucking can't. My point is, when he says that, when he goes, oh, this person's not important and they have no reach and they don't matter, like, you can bet your ass that we matter, right? I might not have as much reach. Oh, he said he didn't want to call him a cunt, but he still did. Oh, for fuck's sake. Of course he did, right? Of course he did. But when he says our names and then he says, they're irrelevant, they don't matter. If we were irrelevant and we didn't matter, I mean, I guess you wouldn't be talking about us, would you, Aiden? And the only reason I have to talk about your disgusting, filthy, Ratterall face, oxygen thief ass is because you keep victimizing innocent people to basically try to wriggle your way out of all the crimes you fucking committed and all the people you've hurt. Otherwise, you are irrelevant outside of that. That's the only thing we need to talk about is the victims, right? And how you use them to try to get yourself out of trouble, okay? Other than that, you are irrelevant. I don't give a fuck if you had 1 million followers, which you're nowhere near, but I wouldn't give a fuck if you had 1 million followers. I would still have this conversation, Aiden, and I'm glad I bother you so much. People wouldn't bother you so much if you simply didn't do shitty things to people. Here's an idea. Don't hurt people for no reason. I don't do it. Most of my audience doesn't just go out hurting people for no reason, right? I'm sure I got some hate viewers of yours that do that shit. But no normal human being spends fucking 20 hours a day online under fake sock accounts, making fake text, fake emails, fake quote things, evidence for court, and then tries to bring it into court as evidence to try to wriggle out of the things that they have publicly done. I mean, the evidence is there, Ian. Like, you're not going to get out of it in your case. Like, your own words are sinking your battleship, sir. You have sunk your own battleship. Wee-oo, done. All right, end of story. It's a fucking clown show at this point. So the more that this clown show goes on, and the more that you claim none of us matter and we have no reach and blah, 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 just tells us, what was that thing that you said a long time ago? To step on the gas pedal. It tells us to just go. It tells us that we are getting under your skin, and maybe we hit the nail on the head, right? Maybe, just maybe, if you didn't hurt people on purpose. You talked about counterpunching the other day. Oh, I only counterpunch, which is bullshit. 99.9% of the people he attacks is because he is either jealous, they didn't do something he wanted them to do, or he's afraid the information that they have is going to get out there. So he attacks them first so that if they do say it, they're not, quote, credible because he's attacked them. But by now, most people know that game and can see the pattern coming from a fucking mile away. How many times in the last year have we predicted what he was going to do before he did it on this show alone? I can't even count on my fingers how many fucking times that's happened. I can't even count on my fucking hand how many times that's happened this year. But we all don't matter, right? Is that what you said, Aiden?
Nick Roccos. The Roccos are two Roccos. There's Jenna and Nick.
Nick
No.
Rocco, the Roccos.
Nikki Haircuts. Nick Rocco. And Nick Rocco
Nick Rocco is Karen Reed's voice.
guy named Nick Rocco.
That's one good thing about Nick Rocco.
Nick Rocco raised all the money, right? You're not Nick Rocco status. Nick Rocco, Nikki Haircuts. Nikki Haircuts. What does she need Nick Rocco for? Thank the Roccos. This is why she likes Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco doesn't mind being Karen Reed's bitch. What does Nick Rocco think? I'm not Nick.
Aiden, you were Karen Reed's bitch. You're just mad you're not her bitch anymore? And that's what I'm gaining towards this? Because all of the things that he says, like, well, Nick Rocco posts what Karen tells him to post, and she puts out information that she tells him to put out. Like, Aiden, you did that for 2 years, and then you admitted to doing it. So, like, are you just really upset you're not her bitch anymore, sir? Oh, poor boo-boo. Poor little boo-boo. Somebody get him a Band-Aid. Get him a Band-Aid. Oh, thank you, Cat's Pajamas. That was so sweet of you. If I could reach through the computer and, like, squeeze hug you, I would, my friend. I give hugs. I like free hugs. I'm a hugger. So one day we're going to have like a get together where we all meet up and have fun, even people out of state. We're going to have to maybe make it somewhere where people can get to. Like, maybe we do something in, like, Jersey or Connecticut or something like that. Like, a middle ground of, like, the eastern border and, something like that. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. You are going to be a literal lifesaver when it comes to summer, because I just said the other day, like, I'm going to have to start pulling out things from my storage unit, and the one big air conditioner I have is going to have to come out because it's starting to get warm here now. It's getting into the 50s and then the 60s. Those 2 days that it was, like, close to 80s, I was dying up here. It was freaking hot. So I was like, oh, it's going to be brutal. It's going to be brutal. I appreciate you, Cats. Thank you so much. Yeah, he needs a binky and a blankie and a cuddle. He's got a boo-boo.
Nick Rocco. Maybe Nick
Gotta
Rocco.
be
I don't know
boo-boo.
if Nick Rocco's out there in the chat. Or maybe Nick Rocco. Maybe Nick Rocco. Am I Nick Rocco?
Exposing the Roccos.
Thank you.
Why is
Jim.
Nick Rocco talking? Who the fuck is Nick Rocco? No offense to Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco. This is why she likes Nick Rocco. Because Nick Rocco just fucking does as he's told.
Hate the Roccos.
Does
I
everyone have
can't.
to praise the Roccos? Obsessed with Nick Rocco. Oh, Nick Rocco's in the chat. You got to get a real PR person, not Nick
Ooh,
Rocco.
That's a good
I had
idea.
nothing against Nick Rocco.
LGL.
Like, who are the Roccos? Nick Rocco. Nick
A
Rocco.
bowling alley.
Nick Rocco.
Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco.
Do
The
it
Roccos. Nick
Apple
Rocco's.
style.
Nikki Haircuts. The Roccos.
Nick Rocco.
Nick Rocco.
Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco.
Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco gets all He gets all the credit, right? I mean, she always, oh, Nick Rocco did everything
Brian,
for
we
me.
need
He
one of
raised
these
all
for
this money
you.
for me. Nikki haircuts.
And me.
Nikki haircuts. I like Nikki haircuts. Why are you going to speaking through Nick Rocco? Nick Rocco. Nick Rocco. We like Nick Rocco. Nice guy. Like his name's Nikki haircuts and shit. And that's not a knock at Nick Rocco. The Roccos are two different people. Who the fuck are the Roccos? The Roccos. Literally, no one is here for the Roccos. No one. I don't give a
How mad he is. Nobody's here for them. Nobody. He's so angry, bro. Are you mad? Or is the widow turtle mad? Oh, the widow guy's a widow upset.
fuck about the Roccos. Who the fuck are the Roccos?
He's so mad. He's so mad. Oh God, it's so funny. Oh, I can't. Oh God, I love myself a good laugh when you know what gives me an even better laugh.
Can you please not? Can you please not?
We need one of these with Brian's name or my name or Mike's name. My God, my fucking God. I mean, it's wild. It's fucking wild. It's so fucking wild to me. Like he's so
Like,
angry.
who are the Roccos? Because, like, I'm a big
Who's
Rocco
the fucking
fan.
sewer turtle guy? Who's the fucking sewer turtle guy? Oh, he can't. Oh, the puppy. Billy Morgan said, according to Aiden Kearney on October 3rd, 2018, I was running a scam when I started a GoFundMe page to try to raise money for my dog who was dying of a brain tumor. He and the turtle riders mocked me for struggling with her death on November 26, 2017. This is who you support. Fun fact, Aiden tried to call the GoFundMe that I had after we had the fire a scam. Sir, excuse me, when you lose everything in a fire and you're low income, it's a scam. You've lost everything. You've lost everything. Then we had one several years later to get my daughter to the only doctors in the country that are in Texas that actually study her disease, because less than 200 people on planet Earth have her disease. And he called that a scam too. So if you have a GoFundMe for anything, he just calls it a scam. Also, if you have cancer, by the way, he's just going to say that you don't have cancer. That's like a thing. Everybody who has cancer, he says they're faking it and they don't have cancer. So he said that Kevin didn't have cancer and he was faking it, which obviously was not true. He said, teen cancer, even though his mother died of cancer because Lisa is dealing with cancer. And of course, he said that Kylie didn't have cancer. She had ovarian cancer in 2022 and is in remission now. But everyone who has cancer, he's just going to say that you're a fraud and you don't have cancer and you're lying. Right? So just want to throw that out there. If anybody else gets cancer or has a sick animal or has to have a GoFundMe to help with expenses of any sort, like a fire or your child being sick, just know that he's going to call you a scammer. See, the difference, Aiden, is that when it's a real life need, right, and you can't pay for it, that's a real life need. It's not a scam. You know what is a scam though, Aiden? I'll tell you what is a scam. When you put $200,000 down on a home, but then you beg for other people to pay for your defense fund and your civil fund while you're being sued into oblivion. That's a scam, sir, because you could have used your own money to pay for it. So if you have money to pay for it, you don't ask other people to do it, right? That's the scam. And if anyone, and I mean anyone on planet Earth did it, anyone else put a GoFundMe up for a defense fund, okay, and then put $200,000 down on a home, he'd be writing blog after blog after blog after blog, calling that person a scam artist, a ratchet. Why, if they had the money, were they asking other people for it? What a greedy asshole. What a piece of shit. Just saying. These are the things that he would be doing if it was anybody but him. Make no mistake about it. If anyone else was cheating on their wife with multiple other women, he would be calling them a piece of human garbage. But because he does it, it's totally okay. It's fine. He can just wiretap away, right? Illegal wiretapping is bad. It is bad, he says, unless he does it. When he does it, it's perfectly acceptable. And who cares, right? Who cares that he committed a crime? Who fucking cares? But all of the people that he's been writing about for 10 years, people who were in addiction, people who got arrested, even falsely, okay, or people he helped falsely get arrested with his bullshit stories he was paid to do. that he checked zero information on. Totally okay. It's okay to do those things, because he did them. But if anyone else on planet Earth did them, he'd be doing endless content about them and how much of a piece of shit they are. I want everyone to remember that. I want them to remember who they are supporting. Every person that has a GoFundMe is a scammer. Every person who has cancer doesn't have cancer, right? Come the fuck on. Who the fuck says team cancer when your own mother died of cancer? I mean, that is just the most deplorable, diabolical, disgusting thing I can think of. Okay? That would literally be like me being like, yay, unaliving. Like, no, my dad died of suicide, right? That is a very serious thing for me, right? Like, that is something that is near and dear to my heart. Mental health, suicide, like, I don't take it lightly, okay? And I can't imagine saying something like team unalive, just to hurt someone. Like, that is just deplorable and disgusting. You have no morals, no ethics. All you care about is hurting people, right? And it shows. So this whole, I'm not a monster, I'm not a bad guy, I don't do things to hurt people bullshit that he tried to feed people on Sparkly's thing, like, it's all bullshit. All of it. All bullshit. All fucking bullshit. 100% bullshit. Aha. I did notice this. Did anybody else notice this? I actually, so at the correspondence dinner last night, when the guy tried to get into the dinner and shoot people, I noticed right away when I saw in the clips that JD Vance was taken out before President Trump. They yoinked the vice president out before they even went to the president, which was like, what is happening right now? And maybe it's just because this guy here pulling JD Vance, that might be because that might be his head of security and he just got there first. I'm guessing that could be the answer. But I was just like, is this real life? Like, why is the vice president being taken out before the president? Like, just yoinks him out, like, out you go, and then President Trump's still sitting there. People are still trying to figure out what's going on, right? Then here comes SWAT. Then they yoink him out of there. Like, what the fuck is going on? So for anybody who hasn't seen this video, here it is. But that was the Secret Service. But they did yoink out the vice president before they yoinked out the actual president, which I did find that strange. That's one of the things that I said this morning was like, wait a second, why the fuck? But it could just be as simple as like his head of security was right there to out he goes, No, he's not recovered yet. He still has Meredith derangement syndrome. Yeah, he has a very severe case of Meredith derangement syndrome. He also has a very severe case of twisted derangement syndrome. He has TDW. TDW. His withdrawals as well. His withdrawals. If he doesn't talk about one of us, he starts to shake and shit like an addict. He's hot and cold sweating, and he's got to figure out who he's going to talk about. Who he's going to shit on today. Doesn't care if he's hypocritical. Doesn't care if he tells on himself. He dry snitches on himself all the time. It's quite funny, actually. Hold on one second, guys. Can I go over this? Get a cup. I can't even open it. Hold on. I get this once in a while. This is the Polar Raspberry Lime, and it's delicious. I don't drink soda, really, but that's why I buy like this tiny bottle, because if I want something once in a blue moon, this is what I keep in the fridge for myself. Although the kids, as you can see, want to get it. Oh, hold on, gotta get a cup. You guys, this thing is awesome. I got this for Easter. It's a light up duck. If it only just was like a bath, no, it's a cup. So she wanted to light up duck. Oh God, I don't like this. Ooh, don't spill, don't do it. Don't do it. Okay. Here you go, Munchkin. Here you go. do you say? Welcome.
Light up soda.
Go ahead, girl. You're welcome. Love you. Okay. Thank you, baby. Sorry. Mom duties always come before everything else, my friends. Yeah, they should have had coverage on each side. I agree. You know? Oh, he definitely a sadist. I feel like there's even more than that. Like, you know? Oh, God. Let's see. What else we got here? I know we got a couple clips that I didn't have time to clip them. She's so funny. Yeah, she's got school tomorrow. So she's just chilling on her Sunday. Richard likes my popcorn bags. They are old school. We can thank Lorelai for them. I love my popcorn bags. It comes 100 in a pack, and they are freaking adorable. And they're pink. Fresh popcorn, it says. So cute. I love them. The kids love them too, though, so that's a bonus. Let's see. I'm trying to pull up what I was looking for. But yeah, she's sassy like me, though. I mean, all my girls are, to be fair, all of them. But yeah, they go back to school tomorrow. They're not, their vacation is over, although she had fun. She went to the Pete's Sweets and she got it was so cool. It was SpongeBob themed. It's a SpongeBob themed. Did I show you guys it? I feel like I had to show you the video of it. No? I'll show you. You're going to be like, what? It's in, what's the name of Pete's Sweets, not treats, sweets. They do like themes. Longmeadow. It's in Longmeadow, Massachusetts. And there are little videos I can show you. Here it is, SpongeBob themed. And the kids absolutely loved it. They were with my sisters, so I didn't go, but we had enough money for them to go, not us. But they went to Six Flags, Pete's Sweets, and Round One Arcade for my sister's 30th birthday. So let me find a longer one. Here we go. This one's an Instagram video. I don't know if it'll let me.
Right here in Western Massachusetts at Pete's Sweets SpongeBob themed experience happening now through May 16th. From the moment you walk in, you're surrounded by fun nods to the show, both in the decor and the sweets menu. Everywhere you look, there's something new to discover. My personal favorites had to be the Bubble Buddy drink and the Home Sweet Home pineapple cupcake. Both were just as fun as they were delicious. Make sure to check it out.
The bubble drink thing, it's a smoke bubble on top that they put on top that they let you pop before they put the top on. So that's pretty cool. The kids liked that. It's a very tropical drink. The kids said it was very, very tropical. Audio here. Oh, audio. No. It's pretty cool. They liked it. So it's all that matters is they liked it, but they got to do that. And so pretty good vacation. My little had a sleepover at the beginning of the vacation. So that was cool. All right, let's see. Oh, this is the other thing I wanted to show. Hold on. While you guys are waiting for me to pull that up, if you haven't hit the like button already, make sure you hit that like button. I'd appreciate it. Make sure that you're subscribed and you change your little notification bell, and make sure that you get all the alerts when we go live, because that's important. If you don't get the alert, then you don't know we're here, right? And those are great ways to support the channel. There's other ways to support the channel. We have a link over there in chat that you can click on. You can enter any amount to donate to the channel. You can write any note. I love getting those notes. Some of them are so well written. Some of them are just pick-me-ups, and some of them are just funny. I love those ones too. I love getting one when I'm not live anymore and someone's watching it on the replay. because then it'll just pop up on my phone, and I'm like, oh my God, that's so sweet. Like, and you guys always give me like something that I'm either laughing about or something that like just hits me in the heart, and I appreciate that. But oh, slush puppies, I gotta love a slush puppies. You know, I gotta love a slush puppy. I love those. I put too many pumps in it. It was very sour when I was like 7 pumps of like blue raspberry in it back in the day. You know, you walk to the store and you're like, as many pumps as I want in here. You know, the slush puppies when I was a kid. I loved the blue one. That was my favorite one. And then we have other options to support the channel like Cash App, Venmo, PayPal, Revolut, Chime. Revolut and Chime are in the description of our video along with our Amazon wish list, and so are all of the other options. But the ones that are on screen right now are the most direct: Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. We also have super stickers and super chats and memberships. If you don't have a membership to the channel, get yourself a membership. You can gift memberships to other people, which I love seeing happen. That makes my heart happy because some people can't afford them, and so it's nice to see when other people want to. Hold on. All right, let me pull this. Is this? I'm trying to see if this is fucking. I can't with some of these people. Okay, there's one. Most of you who are on Twitter will know that Aiden has a few supporters that completely ignore reality, right? They completely ignore every reality, every piece of evidence, everything. They want to explain away with some ridiculous nonsense that not only doesn't make sense, but has no truth to it whatsoever. One of those people is Alyssa. She fails to understand that Aiden could give a shit less about her. Number one. And number two, like, no amount of explaining away the things that he has done is magically going to make it so. Okay? He's a bad fucking person who does bad shit. Like, there's no denying it. There just simply isn't. Okay? And so Jason is like responding, you know? Responding to all of this nonsense, right? Why is anything that happened before August irrelevant? Is that really a question you're even asking at this point? The whole reason shit went to hell is because the Meredith shit had been doing for months leading up to all this blowing up. That's completely false. It's not true. Aiden's reaction was based on her own behavior. That's also not true. Her reaction was based on Aiden's behavior. Her reaction was called reactive abuse. When you are harassed and threatened privately for months, for weeks, incessantly being called, told what to do, demanded being told what to do. You do this, this, and this, or else. You do this, this, and this, or else. You say this, this, and this, or else. You eventually react to that, right? So here we have some people who have no fucking idea what happened behind closed doors, trying to tell people like Jason or me, like trying to tell me what happened behind closed doors. I just have to laugh. I know what happened, right? Like I already know what happened. Like if I could share every single thing that I have with all of you, they would still, even with all this concrete up, they would still sit there and go, oh, no, we didn't do it. It was her, not him. And it's fucking wild, okay? Yeah, I've talked about reactive abuse quite a few times, because I think it's important. When you abuse someone mentally and emotionally so much that they finally react, what happens is the abuser goes, and see, they're crazy. See the way they're acting? They're crazy. Well, I mean, how far do you think you can push one person before they eventually fucking blow up or before they react and fight back? And not for nothing, but when is a victim allowed to fight back? Because yet every cult member has always said, like, oh, they should have just shut up and went away. So let me get this straight. Aiden can victimize whoever he wants. He can lie and say whatever he wants. He can make shit up and say whatever he wants. And none of the victims should bother speaking out and saying it's not true and proving that he's a fucking liar. We should all just go away and shut up, right? We should just let people destroy our lives and our names, and we should just shut up and go away. Interesting. That's interesting. That's called blaming a victim. That is victim blaming at its finest. Well, the victim should just go up, go away and shut the fuck up. Like, no. I don't know at this point, Lisa. I don't know. Christine might want to buckle up because I'm going to say the exact fucking same thing I said when he started dating Meredith. And you can go all the way back to those videos. They still exist now. It is not an if. It is a when they break up. What he's going to do to Christine is the same shit he's done to every ex he's had thus far, except Lauren, because she's the only one who keeps kissing his ass. Okay? See, I've always wondered that myself, Making. I've always wondered that myself, I have. It isn't talked about enough. You're right. I say that too. Like, it's just not talked about enough. I don't think people have enough knowledge or education on it at all. But they expect what? You expect the victims to shut up and go away? That's what we expect? I mean, do we really expect that? Because if you're a victim, are you just going to shut up and go away? You're going to then use that as, oh, the victim's not afraid of me because they went online and they, showed people that I was lying? Like, I'm behind a computer screen. I can be afraid of you and what you threatened to do and still fight back using my keyboard, right? Like that, it's common sense. To try to sit there and say someone's not afraid, or like, oh, these people aren't afraid of me because they wrote something on Twitter. Like, okay, Aiden, use that same exact, and again, he can't even use his own arguments. Like, okay, use that same argument, Aiden, against why you're so afraid of Kate, right? You're afraid of Kate, you're afraid of Meredith, you're afraid of Lindsay. Like, how many other girls are you afraid of, Aiden? How emasculating, really? How fucking emasculating. I sent some things over, but I think they, were very well aware of all of that. But that's a good point. It is. He's a fucking walking, talking red flag. A walking, talking red flag. And what is he going to do when he runs into someone who has nothing to lose? Like, that's the other thing is he so often just shits on someone for so long that they don't have anything to lose. And this is where I fear someone's going to hurt themselves or someone else. That's what I fear. I have been screaming about it for a long fucking time, and I hope it never happens. I hope it never fucking happens. But I can see it coming from a fucking mile away. Most anyone who's ever been a victim of abuse and gaslighting and fucking narcissism can see it coming from a fucking mile away. Yeah, telling a victim to just log off, it drives me fucking bonkers. At what point are the victims allowed to fight back? At what point? Right? Like, no one should isolate themselves like that. Right? You tell the abuser to stop being an abusive piece of shit and lying to save his own ass. Not tell the victims to log off or go away or get off the internet. Well, the other part people don't seem to realize is it's not just the fucking internet. It goes into their real lives. So even if they logged off of Twitter and deleted their account, do you think that somehow, some way they're not still dealing with it? I could get offline right now and not come back for 6 months and still get a text message or an email every fucking day from a cultist with a threat or some disgusting thing that they have to say, because I've been dealing with it for almost 3 fucking years, every single day of my life. A text message, a phone call, an email, a DM. It doesn't matter. I could log out for as long as I like. It's not going to stop magically because he doesn't stop. He's still saying Leah's name, still invoking her name, still trying to claim the story about her, but claims it's different every time he talks about it, right? Like, knowing he's lying, knowing full well that he's fucking lying, yet he still says it over and over and over and over again. It's fucking wild, dude. It's fucking wild, So, yeah, there was a woman who did unalive herself. And I do believe that a contributing factor was Aiden. Because he had just fucking harassed this lady into oblivion. Like, literally into oblivion. And she lost her daughter. I think it was a daughter. The foster parent killed her. Or, she died. And then even after that, he was harassing her and she unalived herself. And I have no doubt in my mind that it was a contributing factor to why that poor woman is not with us today. Nobody, and I mean no one, I don't care, addict or not, You know, she was an addict. She lost her daughter, and she was sober, by the way, trying to get her daughter back when her daughter died in foster care. And so, of course, she's going through the motions of trying to get justice for her daughter, and Aiden's going to her house, harassing her, calling her all sorts of names per usual. And it's like, dude, clearly you've never had a friend who was an abuse victim of SA as a child. A lot of us become addicts. I was in foster care. I was abused in foster care on top of the SA as a kid. So, like, some of us with a lot of really bad trauma, we end up as addicts. It happens, right? But if you can crawl out of it, like me and many others have, you can change your life and you can help change other people's lives. And I take that pain, right? That pain, that emotion, I take it and I turn it into motivation to help other people. That's what I do with it. And if you can teach other people to take it and turn it into motivation to do something that they're passionate about, doesn't necessarily have to be helping people. That's my passion, but it could be anything, right? You take that pain and you turn it into a motivator to do X, Y, or Z, right? You can help other people a lot. And so Aiden didn't give that poor woman a chance to heal, to deal with whatever trauma she was dealing with that got her in a position to be an addict to begin with, right? All he cared about was she was some addict that did some shitty thing and he needed to shame her because that's his job, right? Is to just shame people into oblivion until they what? Unalive themselves, become more of an addict, because everywhere they go, someone's looking at them. Yeah, that's a great idea. I'm sorry, but who the fuck is he to shame anyone? His whole entire life is a giant dumpster fire. And he thinks he has the audacity to shame anyone for anything. Like, bro, you forever have a record now, Aiden. You forever have a bot sheet, sir. Even if he beat all his charges right now, he will forever have a record. Forever. On his bop sheet, all this shit pops up. Okay? So he used to tout that he wasn't a criminal, right? He's never been arrested and he's not a criminal. He can't do that anymore, right? But that was like one of his main things on why he used to like, oh, well, I've never done this shit. Like, cool, that's great. Who the fuck are you to decide who you shame and why? Here's an idea. Leave people the fuck alone and come up with some original content. Talk about a court case. Oh, you can't because you don't know the legalese of it and you don't know how to go through a courtroom. If someone fucking paid you to do it, you couldn't even pay attention for 3 seconds. Find something else to do. Shaming people ain't it, bro. It's justifying. It's always justifying that everyone else sucks and is the villain and he's the victim and good guy and everyone just has turtle derangement syndrome. Well, you have untwisted derangement syndrome, sir. Okay? Anybody who speaks the truth about you, you lose your shit. Well, it's not going anywhere. The truth, here's the thing about the truth, Aiden, is it doesn't falter. You don't have to remember it. It's not a lie, right? So it doesn't change every time we say it. It's the same every time because you don't have to remember the truth like you have to remember your various lies. That's why you're always self-snitching and telling on yourself because you can't remember what lie you told to who and in what way at this point, right? Aiden, let me just make this very clear. And let me say it slow for the cultists in the back. Aiden never has and will never be a victim of anything. He's a victim of himself, of his own bad behavior. Okay? He can pretend to be the perpetual fake victim all he fucking wants. He will never and has never been the victim. He's the perpetrator. Okay? Let me be very fucking clear about that. Well, that's the thing. He takes advantage, right? Don't most abusers take advantage of people? That's what they do. Narcissists sniff out people that they can use and abuse who are broken a little inside, right? Might have a little bit of insecurity or want to help someone else, just genuinely good people who might just want to help someone else, right? And they take advantage of it. They take advantage of it, you know? But that's the other thing is he never got any attention until he was, quote, Turtle Boy. So he thinks he needs to keep this facade up because women wanted nothing to do with him before that. And so he's actually said this before, that like women wanted absolutely zero to do with him until he was, quote, Turtle Boy, which is like crazy to me. He's like, not for nothing, but look at the dude, you know, like at least now he's aged like 20 years and fucking in 3. So I don't get it, you know? that woman didn't deserve that. Just because what? She was an addict, just because she did something she probably regretted later on. Like that, she's a human. She's a person with feelings, with emotions, with a family. Okay? She lost her daughter when the state was supposed to be caring for her, right? If they're going to take your child and say you're an addict, so we need to take your child, then your child shouldn't end up dead, right? Not every addict is a neglectful parent. They might be a user, but they might not be, they might not be an abuser, right? So that's the thing. So you have to think about these people who are like, if you never took my kid would be alive today, right? These people are hurting, right? She loses her daughter from the very people who are supposed to, quote, protect her. And believe me, I know all about that system. I was a foster kid and I was abused in that system when I wasn't, by my own family. So I know what it's like to be pulled from your home and not need to be pulled from your home and be abused in a place where you weren't before. So, to me, it's a serious fucking issue, right? That lady lost her child, and you have the audacity to then follow her around even more and call her some more names as she's trying to grieve the loss of her child that she didn't get to spend time with before that child died in the way that she wanted to. How fucking dare you? Who the fuck are you? So you could say that I believed that he had, a part to play in that woman's unaliving, that she chose to take her own life. And I believe that part of that circumstance was what he did, right? I have no doubt in my mind. That's my opinion. But I fear that it's going to happen again, or one of his minions are going to hurt someone, right? Like I fear the worst, Yeah, all of his interviews are explaining or justifying or lying and gaslighting people to say he's a good guy, And I was just talking about that recent appearance. They're like, yeah, I'm not a bad guy. I just counterpunched you. Counterpunch. What did that lady ever do to you that you needed to, quote, counterpunch her? Nothing. She didn't ask for any of this. Any of it. None of it. Because he knows that's what he had used for so long is fear. And to this day, he'll still say to people, we can do this the easy way or the hard way. We can do this. I'm going to make you Turtle Boy famous if you don't do this, this, and this. I'm going to do this, this, and this, and I'm going to write a story about you on my blog. I mean, ask the Roccos. He literally did the same thing and was like, I'm going to write a blog about you. And I think at one point, Jenna was like, go ahead, fucking do it. I don't care. Right? Like that is his threat to you, is I'm going to get my minions to attack you and harass you after I write a blog about you if you don't do what I want, knowing that people, quote, fear being featured on his website. Now it's just a fucking joke. Now everybody knows he's a liar. So, but it doesn't matter. He targets whoever. And again, a lot of his problem is like personal beefs, right? Like jealousy. He has deep-seated jealousy issues, because that narcissists often do. So if you get a little more attention than him, or somebody donates a bigger amount on your show than his show, or if you have a guest he wanted, or you do something he wanted to do and thought he deserved to do, he's going to now attack you. Not because you did anything wrong, not the shit that's coming out of his mouth, but because he's actually just jealous and enraged inside that he thinks he deserves what you had. It's gross. I'm not one of those people. I would rather lift people up, right? Like I would rather like take hands, like become friendly, and like hope that everyone lifts one another up and helps one another. I want everyone to succeed, right? Like everyone should want each other to succeed. We should be happy for each other when we succeed, and we should want to help someone else who's trying to do the same thing we're doing, right? Like we should give advice, we could help when we can. Like that's what I hope for this world, right? But there are just people like Aiden who would step on anyone to get what they want. Doesn't matter if you did nothing wrong. You're the sweetest person on planet Earth. And, if he can try to pull some dirt out of your old next door neighbor who said you had a ton of friends over, so you must be a drug dealer. Next thing you know, there's a story about you being a drug dealer and you never sold a drug in your life. Because one of your old neighbors said you had a ton of friends there, so you must be a drug dealer, and they paid Aiden $1,000 to write the story. Like, this is the kind of person we're dealing with. He has no morals, no ethics, no care for anyone else but himself. And he often uses his own family members as like sympathy. Oh, you're trying to take me from my kids, from my family. Like, no, the only one doing that is yourself, sir. Your actions got you into this situation. You can only blame yourself. If you go to jail, it's not everyone else wanting you there to take you from your family. It's us wanting you there so you can't hurt anyone else. It's we want you to be held accountable for the things that you have done and the lies that you have told. He knows damn well, right? But he needs to gaslight that audience in order to get them to give him money. It's his MO, you know? And no, he had no problem exploiting his own kids, never mind other people's kids. He's done it to many people's kids, including mine. Like, imagine trying to like insinuate that a sick kid isn't sick, right? Like, imagine it's the same way he has said people with cancer don't have cancer. It's like, bro, my kid's bald right now. Okay. She's lost all her hair. It's starting to grow back, but like she's lost all her hair. She's been a pincushion her entire fucking life. All right. Like she's got a G-tube. All right. That gives her feeds at night. Right. Like, what fucking planet do you live on that you could ever suggest that? Right? Like, he doesn't care if it's true, even if it's blatantly untrue. And he knows it's untrue. Blatantly untrue. Just insinuating is good enough to him. He knows what his minions will do with that, right? For anyone to be that diabolically disgusting, there is nothing that he won't do. And make no mistake. Okay? A lot of his minions are like, he would never do that. He's not that stupid. Nobody would do things like that. Like, they're dead wrong. They're dead wrong. He will, he has, and he'll do it again. You know, some of the shit that they say is fucking wild to me. He would never do that. No one's that stupid. No, well, he is. He is. He has no problem doing shit that's illegal, unethical, wrong, straight out a lie. You know, it's gross. You know. Oh, yeah, I mean, he has targeted men. Usually it's to a benefit, though, someone who didn't do what he wanted. Gaffney, because Gaffney didn't support him anymore. You know what I mean? Like, it's usually some personal beef. And then, you know, like Sean or Nick Rock, like, these are people that, like, you know, he just wants to target because, like, he doesn't like them anymore and he doesn't want other people to support them. Like, that's, and later on, he's dumb enough to admit it. Like, oh, yeah, well, that one was just for revenge. At that point, why his audience doesn't go, are you fucking serious, dude? That was only for revenge. So, like, what? Like, how you don't put two and two together, some of these people, and how you keep making excuses as this chick is doing here and as she keeps doing and continues to do. Like, what she doesn't seem to realize is if he could blame this chick for anything, and throw her under the bus to save his own ass, he will. He, no doubt about it. No ifs, ands, or buts. Doesn't matter who you are. Doesn't matter if you donate. Doesn't matter if you support him. Doesn't fucking matter. He will throw your ass under the bus. If he thinks that something you wrote can be misconstrued or twisted into proving that you did something and he didn't, and he thinks if he twists it a little and narrates it a little, that like he can blame you instead of him, you can bet your ass he's going to. You can bet your ass he's going to. He doesn't give a fuck if you support him or not. All this simping is for nothing. For absolutely fucking nothing. Like, imagine that, spending all those hours defending him and, you know, making these comments that just make no fucking sense whatsoever to defend him. And the end result is that. I can't. It's crazy to me, you know? Gentleman just made a really good post. And no, it's not about Aiden. She just said she took a 2-mile walk with her son, and he's 19 and he's 6'3", but he's still her little boy. And never give up an opportunity for alone time with your kids to just talk. Lots of good discussions today. And I love that. I know that her and her son take walks. They do dinners too, which I think is amazing. Me and my girls, we snuggle and watch movies, or snuggle and watch videos, or snuggle up and eat junk food and girl talk. And I take those moments, and they're precious, you know. I don't know if I'm going to have my oldest for another month, another day, another week, another year, another 5 years, another 10 years. I just don't know. With her disease, it's different for every person who has it. There was a 16-year-old girl that died of her disease. There was a 32-year-old man that died of her disease. So I don't know. You know, it's so rare that I don't know how much time that I have with her. But you can damn well know that the time that I do have with her is precious. It's extremely precious for her to spend it with me, with her sisters, with her dad, with her friends. And, you know, a lot of this stuff is like taking away from people's real lives, you know, like people's real lives. Some of his victims have to take time out of their real lives, spending time with their families and their loved ones to get evidence, right? To take hours to download evidence against him. Like that, this cuts into people's lives, you know? Oh, absolutely. Absolutely, they will. You're 100% right about that, Breeze. And so it's like to point out, like, this goes well beyond just online. And that's the part that people don't get, where they're like, oh, well, if people just logged off and went away, everything would be fine. That's just simply not true. And most of the time, you just hear the cultists say that. It's not really people who have had to see the shit that he does or see the, you know, the downfall of like the end result of all the shit that he does to people. You don't hear those people saying that because they know themselves how bad it is. You know, it's crazy. What is this? Hold on. Hold on. What the fuck is happening? Oh boy. I'm guessing. Hold on. Guessing. So this, it says, like, if you think this text is from a male, comment if you think it's from a female. The answer is alarming. And just says, people like Abby, I don't fucking talk to Abby. I don't talk to anyone, but I am talking to you about our relationship, about how what you're doing makes me feel. But it just says but. Yeah, he does love having haters, and it's like we're not haters though. We're actively trying to stop a abusive narcissist from making other victims, right? Like that's the truth. And I could give a fuck less what he does in his everyday life or how fucking shitty he is in his everyday life, other than if he wants to, you know, fucking steal from the store, I don't give a shit. If he wants to fucking not pay his taxes, I don't give a shit. What I give a shit about are the real lives that he harms by telling lies, fabricating things, twisting things, making up fake receipts, like the shit that he's been doing, you know? Oh, yeah, they make it their beef. Absolutely. And it's like, bro, half of them have no idea what's actually happening behind closed doors, of course. None at all. They have no idea what he's doing behind closed doors and how bad it is, you know? Like, they just don't. Let's see, what is this? I hate that I have to send 50 messages. What the fuck? Oh, is this? I think this was from or Nick. I can't remember. Let me see. I think so, yeah. I mean, again, Federo has lost his ever-loving fucking mind and clearly has no ethics at this point, you know? Interesting. Let's see. Just since Terry was actually he had no hand in normal person Chris's family, it's all time range. I can't with some of this shit. I really can't. Like, oh boy. The numbers don't lie. You're right. He made tons of money, even bought a house. She had to sell a house and has no income. So I guess would be Nick sort of firing back at Aiden. The band. Is this the thing you guys are talking about ever? Yeah, he did target Tom. He did a whole fucking story on Tom. You want to know why? This is the funniest part. You want to know why he did the story on Tom? He did the story on Tom because Tom contacted him and found out that he was like with Leah and that, he had a wife at the time. So Tom was like, I'm kind of like, as a fan, I'm kind of put off that you're cheating on your wife with her. And Aiden, of course, denied it and said, that's not true. That's not true. Of course it was, right? But Aiden got so mad he threatened Tom, and then he did that blog on Tom, simply because Tom found out he was cheating on his wife and didn't really appreciate it as a fan. And you're trying to make yourself a family guy while doing shit like that. Tom found out and was like, you're cheating on your wife with Leah, and Aiden lied. He was like, no, I'm not. That didn't happen. You're a fucking liar. You're a piece of shit. And of course, threatened him, did the blog, knowing full well he was lying, knowing full well Tom was right, knowing full well Tom knew the truth. But what did he do? He wrote a blog to try to, make him look shitty and try to hide what he was doing, right? That's what he did. Tried to hide what he was doing that Tom knew he do, that Tom knew he do. Tom knew he did by writing that blog on Tom. But Tom's still kissing his ass, and I really don't understand why. It has to be fear. I mean, why? I don't understand any other reason you'd be doing that when you know he's a liar. That's my point. Is most of these people, including Ethel Machado, know that Aiden's a liar. They know that he has no problem lying about people at all, or manipulating, or twisting. Yet they sit there simping for him until the end of time. Why? Fear. It's fear. You don't want to get on his bad side. You don't want another blog written about you. Well, you know what? Maybe we need to write our own fucking blogs. Like, Jesus. Aiden's blogs smell like fucking wet socks and broken dreams. We've already established this, all right? That's what his blogs if blogs had a smell that he wrote, it would be wet socks and broken dreams. I'm just saying, all right? I'm just fucking saying. Yeah, absolutely. Did he ever tell the truth? No, absolutely not. Dude's got diabetes. Uncurable diabetes, nonetheless. Oh, I know the details of that feud. I do. So the feud with Phelps was because Aiden believed that Phelps believed him. That's why. And because when Phelps did all the digging into the case, he asked Aiden, you saying that you know this, and this that prove a conspiracy. Phelps asked him no less than 6, 7, 8, 9 times. Please provide me with anything, any documentation you say that you have, that proves this. Nothing. He gave Phelps nothing that proved it. Nothing. And so Aiden was not happy with the end of the work product. He didn't like where Phelps went with the podcast and what Phelps, investigated and found out about the case. So therefore, Aiden does what he does best. Blew shit up, lied, twisted, manipulated, and was just an all-around piece of shit. He blew up an opportunity, okay? Phelps could have got him in with other people in the industry, so on and so forth. Opportunities, right? You didn't have to like the end work product, but you were a part of it. So, you did interviews. You don't have to like the end of it. Cool, that's fine. But what you didn't have to do was attack the guy's fucking producer, be an all-around piece of shit, right? Like, he had contractual agreements that he had to promote it. He had to do this, this, and this. Like, he signed that agreement. Aiden signed that agreement. Aiden got butt kissed, nothing from that. You want to know why? Because he broke the agreement. And really, they could sue him for that if they wanted to. He doesn't think about the long-term networking. You don't have to like, he could have even told Phelps he didn't like it, and Phelps would have been like, that's all right. They don't have to. Privately, right? But what he didn't have to do was go nuclear and act a fucking fool, lie and gaslight and do all the things that he does, get his minions to attack these people. Like, that's, do what Aiden does. he ruins his own opportunities, you know? You don't have to like the end result, but you also don't have to be a giant piece of shit. That's choice. It's a choice to not be a giant piece of shit. You know what I mean? He burns not as just professional, but unprofessional contacts. He burns most of his contacts when it comes to like anybody who goes to him for any sort of story purpose. Most of the time he burns them. So all his sources, none of his source information stays private. He'll tell, you know, the 10 closest people to him at that time, which are usually quote fans, who gave him the story and what they said and show them the messages and send them. Like, I would never be a source for him. He doesn't keep any sourcing information private. I have never shared a single fucking source information that one of the sources didn't give me permission to share, ever. And I never would. Never. I do not tell people who my sources are, where they work, what they do. Like, there's a broad, you know, spectrum of people, right? Like, there's people in the legal realm, there's people in the automotive industry, there's people in this, there's people in that, there's people in drug testing, there's people in, like, all over across the board, lab testing. Like, I know people from all sorts of walks of life, right? All sorts of sources from all different places, right? But Aiden will literally go on and be like, well, I have a source at the Norfolk District Attorney's Office. Okay, now all they have to do is go through everyone's email and find out who's using the computer to contact Turtleboy. Fired. He doesn't give a fuck about his sources or protecting them. He cares about, he's already got the story. He doesn't give a fuck about you for it. You know what I mean? He's already making money. What the fuck does he need you for? I mean, it's gross, dude. These people trusted you. And they trust you, right, with information, whether it's true or not. That's your job, is to look into whether it's true or not, right? Some of it might be bullshit, but it's your job to look into it. It's also not your job to then take their information or even give hints about where they work, what they do. You know, some people can't share information with their jobs. They could lose their livelihood because they shared information with you. And here he is sort of giving hints about who they are, and they end up being fired because of it. Like, who the fuck would ever give him anything after that? You got to be an actual fucking idiot to be a source for that guy. You know? Always justice for Enrique. I feel so bad for Enrique's family, man. You know? But this is the post that Nick made about the band, quote, the band being back together, except what Aiden calls it. And it's just one guy with a million fucking instruments. And Nick responded to someone. Let's see who he's responding to here. This person? Someone who watched him. I'll never forget what the way blah, 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 blah. Okay. You're in Chicago. That's great. You know. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, seeing your man is supposed to be your spokesperson posting things like this really makes it hard to believe Karen ever gave much thought to the people who supported her in good faith. Why? Because nobody likes Aiden? Yeah, she is as disgusting as him. Agreed. Like, come on, yeah, walking in circles. It is not a little band, guys. It's not a little band. It's disrespectful. Like, shut the fuck up. I could be reading this completely wrong or picking up on something that wasn't actually meant to be serious. Well, here's the thing. Maybe don't get involved in things you don't know. Maybe don't comment on things you don't know, and you wouldn't get this, you know, response. So Nick said there was only one person who started that. I was her spokesperson. You think what I posted is a slap in the face to free Karen Reed, but someone calling her a cunt and telling her to get a job isn't a slap in the face. See, that's the thing, right? Like, like what? Like, what the hell? Yes, and this guy says you refuse to accept that, blah, blah, you're not her PR. Well, her PR has been atrocious. You refuse to see it, but the numbers don't lie. Her treatment of the guy who put it all on the line was gross. I love when people repeat his talking points. He put it all on the line. That right there is brainwashing. Or Aiden under a fake account. Which one do you want to get with 36 followers? It's either brainwashing, okay, or Aiden under a fake account. Aiden didn't put it, quote, all on the line for anyone, all right? He knew he would get money and fame from it. He saw it from the beginning. Most people did, right? That's what he was hoping. Money and fame. Although he burned many bridges to kill that for himself later on, like there could have been more opportunities that he squandered, and that's on him, right? But he didn't put anything all on the line. He went to jail because he went to his ex-girlfriend's house, period. He didn't go to jail because of anything that had to do with the Karen Reed case. And then he quotes, well, I wouldn't have been on bail. my bail wouldn't have been revoked if it wasn't for the Karen Reed case. No, your bail wouldn't have been revoked if you didn't drive past people's houses with a bullhorn with no permit as witnesses in a murder trial. Also, just so we're clear here, even if he had never been arrested for that and you went to your ex-girlfriend's house, okay, and you decided you were going to push her onto a couch and then get charged with that and witness intimidate her, he would have been arrested or jailed anyway, okay? They could have arrested him right away or thrown him in jail, summoned him and thrown him in jail at the court date anyway. Without being on bail, he would have already been thrown in jail anyway. Didn't matter whether he was on bail or not. You committed a fucking crime, sir. Like, come on, dude. Like, I mean, it's ridiculous at this point. Like, you committed a crime, regardless if you were out on bail or not, you still committed another crime. So you can take that whole thing that you were out on bail on and throw it in the trash because it doesn't matter. Even if you weren't, even if that case had never happened and you did this thing, you could have been arrested and jailed anyway, sir. Because that's what he cites. Oh, well, if I wasn't on bail, I wouldn't have been arrested and thrown in jail. Not true. Not fucking true at all. Not true at all, dude. But these people, right? They just repeat his talking points. It's part of the brainwashing, right? Her treatment of the guy who put it all on the line was gross. And again, unless you're Aiden himself or some actual fucking idiot, you have no idea what you're talking about. Do you know that he tried to blackmail Karen multiple times? Now, again, not a fan to Karen. We all know this, and not a fan, right? But he tried to blackmail her multiple times. He tried to control her. He threatened her. Like, hello, dude. What treatment would you give someone that was doing that? Just saying. You're going to be their bestie? No. The fuck? So Nick's response was, the numbers don't lie. You're right. He made tons of money, even bought a house. She had to sell her house and has no income. There were 99 comments to that. Asshole doesn't discriminate. They come in all shapes and they're everywhere. Okay, come on. Like what? Oh, don't play with me. Okay, well, maybe don't make it. I love when these people are like, don't fucking say that to me. Don't do that. Don't play with me. Then maybe you made the comment, dude. Don't make the fucking comment if you get the hell out the kitchen if you don't like the fucking burn. Like, come on, man. Some of us are not from Massachusetts. Well, thank God for that. Thank God for fucking that. Oh my God. Creators like Mike Crawford, JFK make comments that can unintentionally alienate people outside of Massachusetts. How the fuck could you unintentionally alienate people outside of Massachusetts? Like, listen, I have viewers from all over the world. I don't care where someone lives. I love all of them. It doesn't matter where they live. Right? What does that have anything to do with anything? It'd be easier, obvious. Oh my God, this person said, then pay attention and you wouldn't be confused. I mean, that's true. That's fucking true. You know? Like, come on. Like, come on. A lot of these people are just literal, and a lot of these are also Aiden's fake accounts. A lot of these are Aiden's fake accounts, you know? A lot of it. And so it's like Aiden actually speaks to himself on his fake accounts on purpose. Like, what kind of diabolical, disgusting shit? Like, come on, man. You know? That's fucking crazy. He's petty and jealous. He didn't spend 60 days in jail for supporting Karen Reed. He only supported her because he was making money off of it. Bingo! At least somebody who understands. He put himself in that cell, not anyone else. He's a narcissist. Agreed, Scott A. Agreed. You know? He continues making tons of money because he has memberships and donos. I thought she was starting a YouTube channel. She could be rolling in the dough as well. Oh, yeah, because everyone starting a YouTube channel is rolls in the dough. Is that really the assumption? Because, like, I can tell you firsthand, that's not a thing. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a fucking thing. It's not a goddamn thing. I can't. Oh, Turtle Boy Daily busted his ass every day. No, he just repeated things people told him. Come on, stop it. He didn't pull any records. He didn't, come on, stop it. Stop it. Ridiculous. Nonsensical. You know? Non-fucking sensical. So a lot of this is cultists, you know? People going, oh, poor Aiden. Poor Aiden. Poor guy. Poor guy. You know? Let's see. Oh, there's Tom. It's Tom. That's what he does. He reports stories. No, Tom, was it a story when he wrote about you? See, this is what I want to know. Was it a truthful story he wrote about you, Tom? I would like comment on that, sir. He was been Turtle Boy for what, 11 years? Well before someone sent him a message. He did exactly what he does, report stories. So did he report a story on you, Tom? Or was that just, a fabricated lie to punish you for knowing something about him that he didn't want out there? I mean, just saying. Just saying. Just saying. I mean, can we get some comment on that? Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Aiden does that shit all the time. And it's like, who the fuck has time for that? Using multiple handles at once, commenting to themselves, commenting about themselves, good and bad, bad on some accounts so people don't think it's him, good on others. Like, and again, we've seen this over and over. Like, I'm sorry, but unless 17 personalities reside in your fucking head, who the fuck has time for that? Who the fuck has time for that? Who would waste the time on that is the question. Who the actual fuck would waste time on that? Like, what in the actual fuck is going on here? I just don't get it. I'm not quite understanding. Like, I'm not quite fucking understanding. I mean, it is crazy. It's fucking absolute bonkers. I would never waste the time or money to do that shit. You know what I mean? Ever. Ever, ever, ever. Let's see. Oh, this is a good one. Hold on. One time that Aiden crashed a party he wasn't invited to that he keeps claiming he was invited to. I love that one. That's a good one. It's a good one. The one time, it says, the one time Turtle Boy crashed a party he wasn't invited to shortly before you lectured Karen Reed, saying she divided the community, trying to cover for your equally scumbaggish friend who intentionally turned his audience against her, committed a felony by wiretapping her while you lied to her face about it. Good look, moron. So he's quoting Will, right? Obviously. Oh, yeah, he had literally 20 plus hours a day, I'd say. He doesn't sleep much. But so this person, like, you're not relevant, basically. Like, cool, then why are you there? Like, move on. Oh, God. So let's see. So, oh, yeah, this is the one where he made her take this photo. He wasn't invited to this party. He invited himself to this party. Also, I fully believe he totally box dyed his hair. Box dyed your hair there, bud? Yeah. I mean, he does shit like that all the time, though. That's not the first or last time he's done shit like that. It won't be. It's that simple. It's crazy. Like, what the fuck? It's crazy to me. It's just absolutely fucking crazy. Oh boy. Yeah, I mean, let's see. What's this? We'll look at Aiden trying to rewrite history. Seemed like a big fan before. You can't just say people are good with a moral compass and then one day decide to villainize them because they didn't jump on the sinking ship with you. I have a feeling he'll be kicking and crying for a while because he wanted to go on a hate Karen smear campaign and showed his true colors while others remain loyal and didn't join in with him. Some are two-faced snakes, others have a moral compass. Well, I'll tell you who doesn't have a moral compass. Aiden never has and never will. Never will. Never will. Moni, I do believe it's somebody from the UK at least started that account. It's Karen Reed Justice Crew fans account. Someone from the UK started the account. There's probably multiple people who use it, So, the hell? Hillary might want to share multiple Willie Jones into the conversation. I don't even want to know what that means. Don't even want to know. Ooh, that looks delicious. I'm not gonna lie. It's salmon. I don't really eat salmon, but the food still looks delicious. Oh, this guy. Did you guys see this? With the guy who wrestled? Like, dude, you're wrestling a ball out of an older guy's hand. Like, that was so shitty. I saw this and I was like, he's about to be invited to be Bubba's bitch. Better get some soap on a rope, Aiden. To get some soap on a rope. Don't drop the soap. Should be a whole song. Just saying. Not a very good singer, but sounds like a good song. You know? I'm not defending anything. I'm just pointing the facts out, right? I'm not defending her in the least bit, because as I said before, I was reading these, not a fan of hers. Not a fan of hers. Everyone on planet Earth knows that. And I'm not going to change my opinion on the case. I'm not a fan of hers. I'm just reading it the way it was written. Like, you know, just reading it the way it was written. That's it. I mean, but that's what they do, Ruthie, right? Like, we know that. Use multiple sock accounts. Aiden at one point had a spreadsheet, and I'm not kidding, this is dead serious. He had a fucking spreadsheet of the names and like information on all of his fake accounts from his social media platforms. Who the fuck has to make an actual goddamn spreadsheet about fucking fake accounts? That's fucking crazy. That's such an epic waste of time. An epic waste of fucking time. Like, that's fucking bonkers, dude. Absolutely bonkers. Also, a heads up for tomorrow. Tomorrow, I have a specialty appointment with my specialist in the morning. Ashley is going to bring me, obviously, she usually is kind enough to come get me once a month and bring me to that appointment. I appreciate her for that. It's an important appointment for me. But I usually get it. She's usually here between like 9 and 9:30. And I'm usually back around, 11. But if there's traffic or something like that, the show we'll just have to like start it in the car on the phone. So we'll have to literally like, start it on the before we get home and just do like a field trip. We do a field trip style start of the show at least. So just keep an eye out for that, because sometimes there's traffic. It takes a little longer than I would have, because my specialty appointment, unfortunately, is not right around the corner. It's about 40 minutes from where I live. So I don't think Betterow, and definitely not Bradle, any self-respecting attorney at this point would have bowed out, because the damage that Aiden could do to their reputations and to their, all he has to do is lose his cases. And I would bet money on the fact that he will immediately file for an appeal for ineffective assistance of counsel, guaranteed. And I have no problem saying that I think he would throw his lawyers under the bus for every unethical thing that they did and say, well, they did this, and this, and they're not supposed to do these things. These are against professional rules of conduct. I have no doubt in my fucking mind that he will throw both of them under the fucking bus to try to get an appeal. So, any self-respecting attorney at this point would know that's what they would be looking at and the trouble that they would be dealing with going forward, dealing with him, and would have bowed out. Oh my God, that's such a good idea, LTG. You know what? We're going to do that. We're going to point out all the box trucks that we can, with the businesses on them. And we're going to give those businesses a shout out on our field trip, Sorry, Ethel Machado. We're going to have to give some shout outs to you know what? We should go to the box truck in our neighborhood. I don't know what the business is, but we should go find it and then read the whole business and give it a shout out. Just saying. He has recorded them. I know that. He's recorded them, but he also, as we learned, illegally recorded a conversation between him, Karen Reed, David Yannetti, and Ellen Jackson. Imagine doing that and then sending it to other people. And then now knowing that everyone knows that you sent it to Lauren and some other people, like imagine doing that shit, imagine doing that, right? Like, I think we got to find every box truck with all the businesses on it and shout out the businesses, just to give the businesses a little foot up. And it's like, dude, asking a question like why someone's business is on the side of a box truck they have in their own driveway is fucking wild. It's called advertisement, Jess. You know, advertisement. It's a thing people do for their businesses. They advertise it so that people take the phone number down and they call. Yeah, that's how it works. The fact that she said, well, I don't want to look at it and I shouldn't have to. Well, no one should have to look at your fucking face, but we have to too. So, you know, I don't know what to tell you. I bet people in your fucking city or town all the time complain about you and how they want to look at your face, but there's nothing the town can do about it, right? Because you're not moving out of your mama's house anytime soon. So, and I love that most of these people are people who live in a basement or live with their parents and they have something to say about everyone else. Like, listen, when you adult full time on your own, like I have since I was fucking 17, then talk to me, all right, about being fucking poor when you have to spend money on all the bills yourself. An adult yourself and not have mommy paying half of them or 3/4 of them or all of them, right? When all of your money is going to adulting, then talk to me about fucking being poor. Until then, I would shut the actual fuck up until you're full-time adulting, right? Like, fuck, dude. Half of these people are like making fun of everyone who's like the working poor, right? Like, yep, I'm the working poor. That's me. Nope, no, I have no problem with that because my money goes to my bills, right? It goes to my bills because I adult. All of our bills are paid by me and my husband. Like we pay those ourselves. Like we don't live in mommy's basement. Mommy doesn't buy our food, our toilet paper, our shampoo, our, you know what I mean? Like our doesn't pay a mortgage on her own. Like half of these people have been living off of their parents or living in the basement of their parents. And then they have the audacity to say anything about those of us who have fucking adulted since forever. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. I don't know. That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe. I mean, I don't think she's gonna have a choice. I mean, I think it'll depend, honestly. I think it might depend. So I'm thinking about like what I would do if I was, so if I'm gonna ask to sever the cases, then I might have to. Like in order to get a judge to want to sever those cases, actually sever them, I might have to tell the judge like, well, there's some, you know, issues between the two parties, one of which is the other co-defendant here, my other Cody here, aka Aiden, has illegally wiretapped my client, threatened my client, tried to blackmail my client. So I mean, she might have to get the case to be severed. Because I don't know if a judge is going to want to sever it if she doesn't have a damn good reason. And I mean, that's not a damn good reason, but it's a good reason for the judge to say okay to severing it, because if there's going to be a problem with the two defense attorneys being able to work together because of this kind of shit, leaking documents, things like that, then she might have no choice but to throw his ass under the bus. To be fair, if I was her, I'd have thrown him under the bus a long time ago. He doesn't give a fuck about throwing anybody else under the bus. You know what I mean? Like, and to be fair, he was kind of just a useful idiot for a while anyway. I feel like he's just a useful idiot anyway. You know what I mean? Like a useful idiot to anybody who pays him to do the dirty work. He's just a useful idiot. It's unfortunate. It really is. All right, my peoples, I need to go eat and get dinner ready for me and the kids and my husband before he gets home from work because I'm starving like a hostage. So I love your stinking faces. We might be on a field trip tomorrow. We like conspiracy field trips. We like those. That's what we call them here. Everything is a conspiracy, so it's a conspiracy field trip. So if I'm not back by a certain time, I'll just start it from the road, basically. I got a couple places I got to stop to get some documents for some cases I'm working on for the show. So I'm going to try to get everything done quickly so I can get home. But, you know, depending on traffic, we'll see how that goes. Do me a favor on your way out. Okay, hit the like button, please. Please hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're not already. Hit that bell notification. Okay, make sure you hit the bell notification so you're notified when we do go live. If you can't support the channel, we have a bunch of different ways that you can do that. Of course, we have Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. We have our justice chats, which are pinned to the top there. It's also in the description. Those you can use any credit or debit for. And then we have our Amazon wish list. I appreciate y'all. You're catching me on the replay and you end up donating or something. Oh, yep. Shout out to Nina. I wasn't working yesterday, but Nina, kindly enough, still sent a donation yesterday of 30. Thank you so much, Nina. I appreciate that. So usually if someone donates when I'm not live, I just say thank you and read it on the next one. I love when those come in though, when I'm not live anymore, because it's like I know that somebody's watching it like on the replay, and like it's like, you know, someone's thinking about you, and like I appreciate that. So I appreciate all of you. I love your stinking faces, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye, everybody.